What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? It just hit 9 o'clock. So what I will let everybody know is that we will not be beginning this call until there's at least 150 people on this webinar. We are currently at 64. We have a special guest coming on as well. It's going to be a very exciting call. It's going to be great. There's a lot of stuff going on today. The inauguration is today. So much stuff going on. We had a great trading day yesterday. Please go out and share this link with your people. Share this with your team. Share this with your prospects. Share this with whoever. But we need to wake everybody up and let's get them on this call in these next 5 to 10 minutes. We will begin when there's 150 people on live. We just hit 70. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. We have 98 people on right now. We'll be getting this call started when we get to 150. Good morning, good morning. Can't wait to have everybody on the call. Really, really excited to have you here. We're already at 105. Make sure that you go and share this link with your team, share this link with your prospects, share this link with anybody. This is an open call for people to get on and really learn about what it is we're doing here in Auvoria Prime with AIRO. So it's a very exciting day. Go ahead and share this link. We are at 105 people on. Good morning. Good morning. We are at 120 people on the call. It is 9:04. I promise you guys, I'm one of the most patient people that you will meet. I can wait. We will not be getting this call until there's at least 150 people on. Let's go ahead and share the love, share the joy, share this exciting opportunity it is that we have here to not only use this product, but be a part of the AP family. So just like Mariska said in the chat, I feel it's a moral obligation to share this. So I will go and share the flyer, maybe on your Instagram story, maybe post it on Facebook, maybe invite people that you know that are in the trading community to hop on the call. I feel very blessed to be here today, but I don't want to do this if we're not going to be intentional about sharing the love, because that's really what it's all about. So we're at 127 people. We only need 23 more people. Let's do that in the next 2 to 3 minutes, everybody, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Welcome everybody to the call. We are almost at our goal. We have 138 people that are on with us live. We're only looking for 12 more before we begin. Actually 10 more now because 2 people just jumped on. So excited. Let's go ahead and pack this call out. We have a few things to go over. We had a few people that are going to be our panelists today as we go in today. So I'm very excited to be here. So let's go ahead and share this link. We only need 8 more people to join before we begin. It is almost time to go. All right, guys, we need 4 more people, and we're going to go ahead and get started. It is almost time. Very, very excited to be here with you all today. Really feeling just blessed to kind of share this experience. We took 3 trades on this call yesterday. It was very exciting, and even potentially a 4th if some of you took the trade that Jackie was in. We have Jackie back on with us today. We have a few other leaders that are on here today. And I believe that we have just accomplished our goal of hitting 150 people before we even start this call. This is very exciting. What you see on your screen right now, if you did not know, that Auvoria Prime is having an absolutely incredible launch, a really kickoff webinar on January 30th. And what you see on the screen is a raffle. Hold on, let me make sure that you guys can hear me super clear. Believe me, we're going to get into the charts. Believe that. But I want to show you guys this there because I don't know if anybody has seen this exactly yet. This is some of our Auvoria Prime new swag that we're going to be releasing. And on this webinar on the 30th, we're going to have 3 different raffles during the webinar to where we're going to have 9 people that are going to win some kind of prize. It may be some of the swag you see on the screen. It may be some things more that we haven't even released yet. So we're going to be we're just excited to bring this all to you today. So what I would recommend you do is to make sure that you have your ticket for this event. And if you already have your ticket, make sure you share this flyer. Make sure you share the information with people that may or may not even be necessarily in AP yet. So I want you guys to understand and value that we have 11 days or 10 days now to really promote and get the information that we're doing, get this call, get this launch webinar. Oh yeah, of course it did, Shaquille. He said that last trade for EJ hit TP yesterday. We're going to get into that. Absolutely. So I'm very excited. I can't wait. I need me a dad hat over there. I might need to grab me a book bag too. So I'm excited. These things are going to be available. But what I would do if I were you is to make sure that I have my ticket already booked today, because you can only get into the raffle if you have it before the 23rd. So don't even waste any time. And then make sure that you share this with people. We have literally all your favorite leaders. Whoever introduced you to this call, I guarantee you that if you look up or whoever introduced that person to the business, one of them leaders is probably going to be actually speaking on at this event. It's going to be a very, very incredible. So I wanted to make sure that we got that knowledge out there before we jump into the trading. We have a few special guests that we already brought up. We have over 170 people on this webinar right now. That is very, very exciting. So as we sort of transition, the first thing that I want to say, Coach Mo is on the call. Sweet, let me bring you up. Let me go ahead and grab her. And then what I want to say to open up the call is to really make sure that we have perspective and know that we always have to open up any call. We're going to be talking about trading, talking about money with the proper disclaimer so that nobody has the wrong impression as far as what's going on here. We're not enticing anybody to take any of the trades that we may or may not take on this call. We're not giving any kind of financial advice. And I would only trade live with money that I'm willing to lose. I'm actually a big time fan and proponent of people being serious about their demo accounts in the beginning of their trading journey. I think that the longer you trade on demo, you'll really grow and get, especially if you take it serious, is that you'll get the experience that you're looking for, that you need to really be able to trade live. But a lot of times people kind of just jump into the markets, throw money, and kind of blame anybody else. We want to remove all of that. And we want to let you know. She said, where will the event take place? The event is virtual. So it doesn't matter where you're at in the world. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. The event is virtual. So no matter where you're at in the world, you can literally plug in and get your ticket, and just make sure you carve out that time in your day to pay attention and take notes. There's going to be a lot of information about AIRO released on that call. There's going to be a lot of information about other software they're releasing on that call, and other things that are really a part of this AP community. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. So now let me introduce a couple of our special guests. We have a few people that are on here today, but I really want to introduce to you. Yesterday, you guys got the opportunity to meet our amazing new AIRO educator, Miss Jackie Pineda. She's incredible. She's on with us again today. Jackie, you here?
I sure am, Dante. How are you? Good morning, everybody.
I'm blessed. I feel great. And Jackie, can you please give the proper introduction to Miss Coach Mo, who is on today, who blessed us with her presence today? Can you just let the people know a little bit about her trading journey, and what it is that you've seen trading with her now, as we've all been kind of using AIRO, as she is now officially a part of our AIRO educating crew as well?
Absolutely. Well, you guys are in for a treat. I have connected with this young lady, and I have to tell you, her energy, her enthusiasm, her discipline in trading was just phenomenal to see. And I'm just so glad that I got to connect with her. Mo, everybody call her Coach Mo Wolfpack. Everybody join the Wolfpack that's on that squad. We're going to rep them. And I got to tell you, if y'all liked what I did with S&P 500 and saw the things I did, let me tell you, I dropped a message yesterday. She does NASDAQ, okay? And she be on the 1 minute scalping the mess out of that thing. And I got to tell you, It's just amazing to see. I just feel so blessed to be associated with her. Now, we have two different trading styles, and that's okay because we both connect in the learning world of trading. And that's how we get together. And I just want y'all to just listen to what Coach Mo has to say, because she not called Coach Mo for nothing. Okay. And just take in the information and don't be overwhelmed. We all gonna give you a little something, and you just absorb and then let it sit and then marinate and then execute. So Mo, if you on the call, girl, can you please unmute your mic and say hello to everybody?
Good morning.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, beautiful people. This is Coach Mo. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. I'm so honored. We're gonna kill it in the game, okay? AIRO is a game changer. Prior to AIRO, I had some wins, I had some losses, but now I have more wins with AIRO than ever before. And it has just been absolutely revolutionary to my trading style. So I'm excited to be on this call with you guys and can't wait to teach you guys what I know as well and bring more value to each and every one of you. God bless you.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, Coach Mo. I'm really excited to see your strategy and to learn more about what it is that you do. To let everybody know, we also have a few other moderators that are going to be on with us today. You guys hear Mariska on with us often. She's actually one of our corporate owners with the compliance team. And we have actually Matt Penu as well, who's on with us. He's was one of the Iris coaches, but has now became kind of like an AIRO coach with us as well. So Matt is on with us, and he's been literally crushing it as well with AIRO since he's been using it, and it's been incredible. So I'm really excited to have all of us on today. We're kind of run this like a panel. I want to get into some of the trades that we took yesterday and to let everybody know the strategy and kind of to make sure that we're all kind of caught up, and then we'll kind of get back into more of a roundtable discussion. So on this call, we really like to go and stick to as close to as possible with staying with strategy one. So what I will recommend for everybody is a few things. One, for those who have questions, we have our moderators on there. So please put your questions in the Q&A. If you want your question to like definitely get answered, you want to put it inside of the Q&A so that we see that at the top. And then if you're sending a message in the chat box, make sure that you click that little bottom, I think at the bottom where it says to, and change that from all panelists to all panelists and attendees. So that way all of us here will be able to see some of the messages and questions that are going on in the chat box as well. But it helps us out a lot if you put them in the Q&A. So that's great. So now what I would tell everybody to do is that if you already have the AIRO product and you have not gone through the training inside of the AP Academy or inside of your specific AIRO course and gone through strategy one, I would make that after this call a priority and make sure that you go and do that. There's going to be some terminology that we use on the call. There's going to be some references that we make on the call, and all of it is based off of you having AIRO and you have gone through at least the basic training of how to set it up, and then at least strategy one. There's going to be references made to some other strategies. I know that we started talking about yesterday, strategy two a little bit, but from a more longer term perspective, and we're going to do that some more today. But I would recommend that you guys make sure that you go do that if you have not already. Now I'm going to just jump in and kind of review some of the trades that we took yesterday. We took 3 trades yesterday. One of them closed while we were on the call. The other 2 closed last night if you left them open. So I want to go ahead and review those. So the first trade that we took was on gold. That was a really quick trade, but we'll go over that real quick and kind of see what's going on. And right now, guys, the inauguration is about to happen. So I'm expecting all types of volatility in the market today. I'm not necessarily like, I'm definitely like looking to get into some trades, but we're going to be cautious and take the best trades available. Like you see big time movement going on with the US dollar right now. So we got to be just be mindful of what's actually going on in the world. And that's also a reality of trading, that like not every day is the best day to be taking trades on your live account. Some days are just days that you need to be learning. So this trade that we took yesterday, one of my favorite parts about Nathan's strategy is that it's easy to see. So you can look at this shaded zone here and say, okay, this is the money zone. So for me, when I get on this call in the morning, all I got to do is look at the previous money zone, and then I'm right back to where we were yesterday and can kind of review anything that we're looking at. So we took this gold buy yesterday because gold is in an uptrend. We know that because when we zoom out, we trade our indices, at least so far. I'm learning more from Jackie and Coach Mo. So from what I was basically taught from Nathan in the beginning was to keep my indices on the 5-minute, and I've been doing that. But I'm definitely like more excited to learn about the longer alerts as well. But so you see that gold is in an uptrend, which means that we're only looking for buys. We're going to yesterday, not today. So yesterday, when we got this alert right here, we had a perfect bag entry strategy. The gold had bounced off of this support zone right here and shot up. We got the arrow. So we have the bounce, we have the arrow. There was more than 20 pips of space into our next zone. So we took the trade for 20 to 25 pips and got out. So that was a quick 20 to 25 pips that we caught. And then we were kind of on to the next. That was literally maybe in like 2 to 3 candles from when we bought right here. And then it shot up for the pips that we needed to be able to get out the trade. So that made us 1-0 for the week. But what I really want to talk about is EJ and CJ, Chef JPY, because these are trades that we have different reports on from certain people. So I want to kind of go over it again. Somebody said they can't see the screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, cool. It's not me. All right, thank you. I was scared for a second. I'm like, wait, there's
I'm
no way I
excited.
did all that and nobody saw.
No, I saw that. I'm excited to go over EJ, by the way, too. 'cause
Oh yeah, I know you're ready.
I'm still in the trade, y'all.
So here, this is EJ. So yesterday, oh, sorry. Y'all said in EJ again, y'all trade funny. So yesterday was right around this region. We were looking at EJ. I'm sorry, I'm on the 5-minute here. Yesterday, somebody said that's $2,500. Wow. So yesterday we're looking at EJ, and if you look, zoom out on EJ, and the first thing we're doing anytime that we're trading, the first thing we do when we pull up an arrow chart on the 15-minute at least, this is like the base strategy one, is that we zoom out and just get the direction of the trend. I had somebody message me this morning, and they were like, well, what if I get an arrow both ways? Which arrow do I take? And I was like, well, you gotta, like, the first thing you're missing already is to identify the trend, because as soon as you know that, then you know. So this is a downtrend because we have more reds than greens. So we know that we're only looking for sell opportunities in this. So this is great. So yesterday we had saw this bounce, and we were looking at this and we were saying, well, I wish we get an arrow to the downside for Euro JPY. And we took, once this arrow did come towards the end of the session, we took this trade. Now we had our stop loss at about the 40 pip region. So this price that we entered at was about like 125.9. So that was about where it is that we're looking at. It's very easy to count pips also on the JPY pairs. So counting 40 pips up from 125.9 puts you at 126.3. And that's just doing the basic math, but it puts you physically like right here, 126.3, which is right above this resistance zone that's right here. So we took this trade. Your stop loss was up in this region. Yesterday, after the money zone ended, price kind of retraced a little bit. It had an arrow. I believe there was a green zone that did come up here. So if you were super strict following strategy one, you could have closed right around entry and maybe lost a pip or two on that situation. I saw some people that waited and didn't close immediately when the zone popped up, and then they closed when price got up here in this region. So you would have lost maybe 15 to 20 pips in that scenario. If you would have held, then all of these things would have happened. Your stop loss would not have gotten hit. And I remember, Jackie, you answered somebody's question in the group when you were asking about should I hold it or should I close it. Somebody said, am I sharing the chart? Can you guys not see this? Let me make sure everybody's clear.
Yeah, your chart's fine, man.
Yeah, we can see it.
We see you.
No doubt. So for those people who held it, you were only in about 20 pips in drawdown in this scenario. And again, anybody who closes trade, you're not wrong for closing it. This is a point in trading where somebody will have what's called discretion. And like you will have a choice to make with, okay, am I comfortable with waiting and seeing what this trade is going to play out? Or do I want to close it at a negative 20 pips? But this is why that you set yourself enough room with a 40 pip stop loss, or at least if you're trading to put it above your previous support zone or previous resistance zone, depending if it's a buy or sell. And then those who waited, you guys see what happened here. And I got a lot of messages this morning from people saying they hit TP, which is exciting. It's just great. Jackie, I'm gonna let you go ahead and kind of touch on that. I know you can go ahead and share your screen and break down and kind of go over it as well, because I saw you hitting some people as well.
No problem. Oh, go ahead and let me share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, I exited the trade because with me, there was a support zone appearing.
Mm-hmm.
So strictly following the rules, and it was way after the money zone. I thought, market get low, better exit.
I can't share. It's okay.
There you go.
It's all right. I do the same thing when I do Zooms too. You're good.
I forget.
I can see it now. All right, cool. Okay, everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you see that. Don't y'all get all excited over this. But here's EJ, right? So like what Dante said, yes, I got in, and remember I'm on the H1, right? We took the trade off of the M15. And if you following the rules of the M15, like Mariska said, you're absolutely right. This is when we got in, right? And
Right.
then you had all this drawdown and even the arrow going against you, right? And then the support zone had appeared at that time because of course we broken it. That's why it's not here anymore. But then it came back against you. See, so here's the thing. When you following the rules of the M15, strict rules, that follow the rules, you're good. You will minimize your losses. However, if you do here's another way to handle it. You're still following the rules if you have your take profit and you set your stop loss as well. And if it doesn't go hit your stop loss, remember I said yesterday, if you are okay with whatever hit that stop loss is and losing that, you can wait for that too. That's the second way. The other way is going to the higher time frame. Remember, we were close to the end of the money zone, right? And then remember, I told y'all yesterday, you do the M15 while you're in the money zone. When the money zone ends, tip, go to the H1. When you
Mm.
go to the H1, you see how you had that up arrow, and then this is around here when we got in. The trend is still strong, right? But remember, we're in an overall downtrend. I just was waiting for my down arrow. It didn't come until today, but I waited. I knew it was nowhere near my 40 pips. I had a resistance zone that it would take a lot for price to break through because we're in an overall downtrend. So sometimes if you can hold it, you'll get what's happening right now. And remember, when you on the H1, still a bag entry. So when this arrow came in, I could have took a second position, but I was asleep. So when I woke up, I see it. But you could have took a second position if you trade London session and saw that as well. But it's a bag entry. Bounce from this resistance zone, arrow, go. You're just doing it off of the H1. And
Mm.
according to the rules of the H1, now you normally would set take profit at 50 pips, stop loss at 100. I'm at 41 right now. There's my take profit. I'm not even going down to the zone, even though I very well could, but I'm not being greedy. I'm just gonna take my 50 and run. And in addition to that, what Dante mentioned earlier, this can all be overwhelming. You want to focus on strategy one, 15-minute time frame, get in, get out, right? As you develop your skill in strategy one and you start watching the additional videos of the additional strategies, you'll come across M's and W's. M formation, fam, is happening. Always looking for that formation in a downtrend. So Arrow is an entire trading system that will allow you to become a little more skilled in your entries and your exits when you're trading, and you'll start to see things like this occur. So maybe you'll say, hey, I'm not gonna get out right now. I see this happening. I'm willing to go ahead and wait a little bit because I'm comfortable with my stop loss. Remember, I always tell y'all, I focus on what's my stop loss. How much am I willing to lose? And then I let the trade play out. So I just want to let y'all know. Don't y'all be staring at my pips. Leave them pips alone. Y'all ain't ready for that yet.
Jackie.
Jackie's cold, man. Jackie's so cold.
I will tell y'all. You want me to tell you real quick what that came from?
You go ahead. You go. Let us see.
All right. Now y'all know these were the pips from yesterday, right?
At
And
least one from yesterday. Yep.
same trade. So if y'all weren't here yesterday, I also trade S&P 500 and I also trade US oil, right? So yesterday when we were on the call, I know some people had messaged me. They said, Jackie, you was up like 1,000 pips and then it went down to 500. I told them, I said, I ain't worried about it.
Mm.
I'm in my trade. These are swing trades. I told y'all I'm from the H1 and the H4. So I'm gonna school y'all on this too. Same thing. I'm still doing bag strategy. Okay, there's nothing different of bounce arrow go. I'm just doing it on a higher time frame because I'm busy. I ain't got time to be. I got kids and a lot of things going on, so I just wait for my alert. Bounce from a zone. You see, I'm in here. Bounce from a zone. Arrow go. I got two arrows that happened. I was asleep when this occurred, or I would have took another position,
Mm.
right? But here's the thing. When this happened, you see how prices came up? What I did was before I went to bed, I went to the H4 time frame. And I went to the H4 time frame because I thought I was going to get an up arrow, and I did. Right after market closed last night, I said, you know what? This trend looks very strong. I'm going to put myself on the H4 and catch my trade off of that. And again, same bag entry, bounce from a support zone, arrow, go. I got another entry up there off of a H1 and H4 time frame. That's where they came from. All three entries. And I'm holding it. And y'all wondering about these gold lines. That's something else. That's Fibonacci. We can get to that later. But we talking about just basic bag entries. So we see Euro JPY off of the 15, take profit hit. Bag entry. Bag entry off of S&P 500 off the H1. Take profit hit. My take profit is the zone. That's take profit one, by the way. You see, I'm still in them. I'm still in them. Take partial profits and run. You never take what the market gives you. You know, don't get greedy. Even though it says 2,000 pips, I'm not showing y'all the profit or nothing because I take partial pips and profit and let the trades continue. You know, but what I'm saying with all that, this is all basic, just bag entry moves, just following the trend, no matter what time frame you want. The only thing that changes is how long you stay in the trade. And the same thing happened with oil as well. I trade oil too. Same thing. Now I just did this just solely off of this H4 alert because I missed it yesterday. So I said, oh, and that's my favorite. And what's today? Today's Wednesday. And I said, I'm waiting for my Wednesday trades on oil. I said, you know what? Let me put it on the H4. Saw that arrow alert. I said, oh no, I'm gonna get in. Why? Because I know my asset. Look at how long oil will hold a trend.
Wow.
I'm in this for days and just letting it go. All right, I'm gonna stop talking. I know y'all want to talk about other stuff. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Now you talking my language. Now you talking my language.
We had a great question about position sizing.
Oh, that is a good question.
This is a good one. Hey,
go Matt. Go ahead, tell
all right.
Matt.
So there's 3 keys to your position size. Number 1 is how big is your stop loss. Number 2 is what are you percentage of your account are you willing to risk per trade. So general rule of thumb, anywhere from 1 to 3% of your trading account per trade is generally where people like to sit. If anyone sees anything differently, then please speak up. But so what a person does is you take their total capital in your account. Say you're trading with $1,000 trading account. The second key is to find out what of that amount. So say I'm risking 1%. I'm only going to risk $10 of my $1,000 account if the trade goes against me and I lose it. If that's where we feel comfortable, then that's fine. So you take your $10, you divide it by how many pips are in your stop loss. That's the key right there. Is you take your 40 pips. If in case you're going to have a 40 pip stop loss, you take the 40 pip stop loss and you take your $10 divided by your 40 pip stop loss. And that is generally going to be the value of the pip that you're going to put in your trading station. So it could be 0.03 in most cases. Anyone have anything else to clarify or add a little bit of?
I use your calculator, Matt.
Oh, you use our calculator?
Pull it up. Pull the calculator up.
Hold on here. I gotta
Bring
see if I
that up,
can.
Matt.
Hold on. Give me a sec.
Yeah, I was also going to say too that like once you just have clarity with how much you're risking every trade, it doesn't like you're less worried after you enter the trade because you kind of already accept what the worst scenario could be. So I think that like I just agree totally with Matt and Jackie's perspective that and so with Mariska, like once you understand, okay, if I'm using a 0.1 and I lose 40 pips, that's $40. Whatever account size you're using, if I'm comfortable with losing that $40, you won't stress about it once the trade is entered, which takes away times people making bad decisions.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And there's a little more complex level to this that for example, certain currency pairs have different values for the pip that's being traded. You know, if you're dealing with pound yen, it's going to have a different value. It's not $10 per standard lot or whatnot. It'll be a different value, and that's where our calculator comes into play. It does have to be updated every once in a while because the currency price does fluctuate a little bit. But give me a couple minutes to pull that up. I'm having some problems with my Excel.
No, you're good. It's all good. We'll swing it back to the alerts.
Yeah.
We have another. I want to make sure we didn't get any alerts too. What time is it? We just got a couple. So let's see what's going on. ACAD, Gold, NZD CAD, and AN. So let's see what's going on. How'd that trade work out to you yesterday? The one you took on ACAD, Jackie. Did you hold that?
No, I did not.
Dude, I was like, I'm not liking it.
I was not liking that thing. I tried to do the bank induction move, and I said that was my first time trading that pair. That's what I get for trying to trade a pair that I ain't never traded before. No, I saw that thing go -5 pips. I said, no, thank you. Let me get out.
I'm out of here. Nah,
I ain't wasting my time.
I don't like NZD CAD at all. AUD NZD, where we at?
I'm gonna just let y'all know right now, if y'all looking for an S&P 500 trade off of the M5, that ain't happening today, man. That trend's so strong. You be lucky you see another arrow down there for a while.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about these indices today too. Today's the day. Look at this. Like, what? I would have took this though. This first arrow here, we were all paying attention because there was a zone up here, so we probably took this to the zone. But now we're gonna leave this thing alone. It's not the best days to be in the indice market, but we're gonna see. I'm like, we already kind of missed out on the entry.
That's why I took partial profits and I let stuff run. Somebody asked if we could show how to do partial profits.
You want to go ahead and show them? Let me look at ACAD and then go ahead and check it out. We get alerts every 15 minutes, so in the in-between time, we got so much opportunity to teach and talk and show.
Absolutely. You gonna show them, right?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
We looked at gold. We just looked at gold, Vic. It was already shooting up. The bag entry we could have got on it was like at 7 o'clock, 7:30.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna show y'all real quick partial profits. Which one? We're gonna do this one. That's not bad. Partial profits. So you double click on the trade, and then what you do is you change your volume. So it can only work on trades above 0.01. So on this one, let's say I just want to only close out 0.01. Then what you would do is just take whatever the profit, it'll just hit close, and it'll just change it to 0.08, which is what it did. And that's how you take partial profits and keep it moving.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll do that on my phone too. Like I'll take partial profits because it's you can just go to close on your phone and then change the lot size at the top. So that's kind of how I got taught to do it.
Yep, exactly.
Nothing like having risk-free trades, right?
Right.
When you're locking in your profit, when you're locking in your partial profit, you're then removing the likelihood that you're going to end up with nothing.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Smart trading. You don't you end the day with the same amount of balance or more. That's a win, guys. That's your goal as a trader, right?
Absolutely. I'm gonna start sharing my screen because I feel like people are gonna start DMing me like, "Hey, that number keep going up."
People funny, man. Yeah, it's just what you see. You can't. I love it.
Oh, that's funny. Did you find your calculator, Matt?
No, it's not working for me.
I got it. You want me to share it, or you
go ahead,
share it?
Jackie? You just started the show. Go ahead.
You share it. Go ahead.
Look,
You're running the show today. Go.
No, not really, because I'm getting ready to put Mo on here. I'm waiting for Mo to shout out and tell me we got an alert on NASDAQ.
all those alerts came this morning. What you talking?
Your trend strong on yours too?
All three. It went.
Yeah.
This morning it went NAS, US, and then S&P 500.
Yeah, sure did. All right, I'm gonna share.
After she shows us the calculator, show us the workflow, Coach Mo. I'd love to see like what trades you did take or why you took those for NASDAQ. I haven't really traded it before, but I'm assuming it correlates with the other indices, and they're probably going crazy today because of what's going on. So I'd love to see it.
Yes. So This is Matt and Al and Brian. I got it from them out of doing another training they did. So I shout you guys out all the time because I said I cannot take credit for this thing because this is what I use. Pretty simple. It's a spreadsheet. They've already given you pairs in here, and you can just update this information through like MyFX book or something like that when you want to know the value of a standard lot or a mini lot or a micro. So to y'all, that would be zero point zero 0.01, zero point 0.1, 1.00. Okay, so here it's pretty easy. You just have all of the pairs listed. I've kind of messed with this spreadsheet, so it's not going to be automated, but I have it on gold only because of the value of gold is like $10 for a standard lot, and that's about equivalent to what it is when I'm trading an index like S&P 500. So I just left it there. But what Matt was talking about is if you have your account balance, put your account balance in here. So he mentioned 1,000. Okay. And usually I do about 2% risk in my account. So that's why you leave your 2%. And that risk is up to you. I'm not telling you to put 2%. I'm just saying that's what I do because I'm comfortable. If you're not that comfortable, risk like a 1% or something like that. Okay. Whatever works for you. But your risk calculation will appear here based on how many pips you're risking. Now, remember, this is where I got that from about my stop loss and the importance of stop loss. I got that from Matt. I got that from Al. I got that from Brian. So everything that I learned, I take what people tell me. I'm always a student
Mm.
and I absorb the information. I let it marinate and then I execute it to what works for me. I may not do things exactly the way they do, but their value is an input has been phenomenal in my own trading within the little bit of time that I've known them. So always a student. You never stop. And like for instance, the 40 pips, you type in 40, okay? So I'm risking 40 pips. I'm risking 2% of my $1,000, $20 risk off of gold, okay? Then that means my lot size is going to be a 0.05. That's what I'm going in on. And then I have a nice day. Take my trade, input that, and go on. When I'm on an S&P 500, I'm on that H1, or we're doing, let's say, GBP JPY, and I told y'all, Nate says in the video, stop loss is 100 pips. Okay, update that to 100. Now you at a 0.02. Okay, so that lot size is critical to how much you're total going to risk. Okay, which is not that $1,000, but again, I've been messing with it, but that's really what's the important part of all this. All right, this, this, all that equates, and then you just take your trade. Remember, you're not worried about how much money you're gonna make. You need to worry about how much money you're gonna lose if
Mm.
that thing hits. Okay, so that's the little spreadsheet calculator thing, and anything you want to add to this, Matt? Because this was y'all.
You know what's really interesting
What?
is the whole thing. People think stop loss is to get you out of bad trades. That's one part of the stop loss, okay? But my mentor keeps on saying all the time, he's like, "Listen, Matt, your stop loss is your profit regulator. That based on how tight your stop loss is, that's where you're gonna make exponentially more money. You put a 20 pip stop loss in there, Jackie, instead of a 40 pip stop loss. Do you see the lot size that you can actually trade instead? You're trading 5 times the lot size.
Mm.
Yep.
So you're making 5 times the profit as the person that's using a 100 pip stop loss.
That's right. That's right.
And that's where you're not going to no longer need to take 100 trades a day or whatnot. It's one trade a day. Or you can take 5 times less trades and make the same amount of money as the individual that's trading with a big fat stop loss.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, and one more thing to look at. On your sheet right there, you see Euro NZD at $5.93.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're trading Euro NZD. That's one of the pairs that comes up quite often. And then guess what happens? You decide to go in on a US Swiss US Swiss. Let's do US Swiss. So you got $10 per standard lot, and then you got $6 per standard lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you're using the same 40 pips for a specific currency pair all the time, so say you just think it's $10 per standard lot and you're trading that smaller value, then your position size is messed up.
Exactly.
And then
Yep.
your risk to reward ratio is messed up. And then so that's where proper position sizing is going to be one of the keys that a lot of people don't talk about. Now, this is not financial advice, of course, right? Because you're in control. We're not licensed to provide any financial advice whatsoever, but this is how you would do proper position sizing based on the actual currency pair or indices that you're actually trading.
Facts. Absolutely. I actually sent that. You are so on point with that. And hopefully there's a lot of people in the group that, I work with that are on this call, because we just talked about that. Somebody asked about the plan and they were like, well, hey, if you're only going 15 pips per day, or you're going for a certain dollar amount, you're thinking 15 pips equals $15. And I said the same thing. If you're trading a $10 or up standard lot pair, then yeah, you're going to go whatever that minimum lot size is. But like you just said, if you're on a yen pair or euro NZD, then that 0.01 is not going to equate to a 0.01 on USD CHF. So you need to either catch more pips or change your lot size or something, whatever you need to do to equate to whatever dollar amount you're trying to make. Excellent point, Matt. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
One more thing. So I like Euro NZD because it's such a vast separation from whatnot. But if you would actually just put the values for Euro NZD in there so that we could actually physically visually see what the difference in lot size and what you're going to have to put as your lot size. So you're going to need 70% more lot size when you're trading Euro NZD for you to make the same amount of profit percentage or percent gain in your account.
Yep.
Because that's the value of the standard lot for that currency pair. That in itself, guys, is money. If you don't put the right position size, you're cheating yourself because you're doing all this work and you're risking so little of your account that your gains are so minimal. It's almost not even worth taking that trade.
Yeah, leaving money on the table, right?
Come on, don't leave money on the table. It takes you 30 seconds to do this.
Facts.
Hey,
Go
Matt.
ahead, Matt.
A lot of questions about the calculator. Can we work to get that uploaded to Google Drive?
Yes, Mariska, we will.
Disclaimer on it.
Yeah, well, actually, we do have it. I don't know if we need. You know what, Mariska? Let's talk later on today about
no
what
problem.
kind of disclaimer is required on something like this, because this is a live spreadsheet, so there is numbers that need to be updated every once in a while.
Yeah, that's why I'm suggesting Google Drive.
Right, then we would always have a live version.
Anyone that will use it can either download it, but better to use the online version of it.
Right.
So you always are secure that you have the latest version.
Okay. Okay. I'll talk to the guys and we'll see what we can figure out for the team here. But I think this is going to be paramount because we're no longer just trading Euro US. We're trading 25 different currency pairs, and we would have to load the other ones as well in there. So it could take a little while to get all that figured out, but I'll talk to the guys and we'll see what we can do.
But I love what your mentor said, and I've heard him say it before. Your stop loss is your profit regulator.
Always.
Folks, keep that in mind.
Correct. And it's it allows you, especially with AIRO too, this is why people are doing it and succeeding in the FTMO challenge as well, is because you don't have to look at your AIRO stop loss as automatically 40 pips. When I'm looking at the chart, you can put it to where that next support or that next resistance zone is at, or above or behind it, and maybe be at 28 pips for your stop loss, which would allow you to use a higher lot size and make more money if the trade goes in your favor, which we all have our own different win percentage rates with AIRO, but I hear most people saying above 80% for using strategy one. So it's it's just very powerful to use a tool like this. So I can't wait to have that accessible as well, Matt.
Cool.
All right. Sharing. I'm going to go through the questions real quick, okay? Just so that I'm going to clean them out. We've got a tremendous amount.
I know. I'll help you go through it if you want.
Jackie, we got one for you, my friend. We're talking about, do you still do your 20 pip take profit, 40 pip stop loss when you're trading well, actually on your trading, but that also depends on what you're trading, right? Is it the
Yeah,
same for
it's
gold
not the
as it
same.
is for, say, EJ?
No, couple of things with that.
Hmm.
I don't actually do the 20/40 only because I use Fibonacci in my trading.
Well,
So
come on, Jackie.
Go ahead, you must go ahead and reshare.
you know what, y'all? We said we weren't gonna talk about fib yet.
I wouldn't don't go too deep on it, but just
Okay.
allow the
All
point
right.
for everybody is that the more that you learn, like what she's going to teach is available to you now in strategy 8. So as you get better and learn strategy 1, like you're going to get to a point to where you can where you're trading like she's trading, which is powerful. But it
That's true.
affects how your knowledge affects how comfortable you're going to be in the markets with the 20 pip, 40 pip rule. Like that's only in the beginning for you. Like as you grow and get better, like you're going to do much more than that and be able to have tighter stop losses, better entries and things like that. So I wouldn't want the expectation for anybody to be, okay, well, I'm going to trade with the 20 pip, 40 pip rule for the next 3 years. Like absolutely not. There's so much more.
That's your starting point. That's only your starting point. You get more
Absolutely.
experience, you get a better understanding, and you will know when you can have tighter stop losses. Very simple. By the way, Nate also went in on the Fibonacci during the London session.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Jackie. Let's learn. I'm trying to learn.
Yep.
Oh, I'm not gonna go into everything, but I did just draw it on EJ, for instance, and I draw my fib differently than Nate. So don't come for me, y'all. Okay. You know, we all don't, everybody don't draw the fib. I call it the fib now. So everybody don't draw the fib the same. The whole point of the fib is to draw it so that you can follow the trend, because it only works when an asset is trending. The fib is, I'm utilizing the retracement tool. So what I do is I wait for price to trend. I wait for price to retrace. I look and see how far it retraced, and then I execute. That's what I do with the fib. Other people use it in multiple of ways, but the strategy that I use off of the H1 is I look, and it's a combination of H1, combination of strategy 1, 2, and 8, because Nate is such a cool guy and saying that I helped him make number 8. So I was like, that was so awesome. But here we go. I'm on the H1, right? So we're in a downtrend. That's why I drew the fib from top to bottom. Okay. Other people would have probably done it a little bit differently, but I'm trying to do quick and dirty for you guys. Okay. You can always practice later on. Google is your friend. Okay. Now, and so is our channel here, Strategy 8. But price has retraced back, and these lines are all levels, right? I have levels 24, 38, 50, 62. Okay. These levels, price has come back here past the 38, did not touch the 50. Okay. Nowhere near the 50. Only came to the 38. All right. I'm looking for a down arrow though, quick and dirty and simple. I'm telling y'all fast. Down arrow, because we're in a downtrend. Here it comes. When I take my entry off of this down arrow, your stop loss can be 100 pips. Normally, that's what he teaches you. 50 take profit, 100 pips stop loss, okay? If you're going to calculate 100 pips from here, right? So that would be this candle right here next to it. 100 pips that's 30. We way back here somewhere.
Sheesh.
You know, for 100 pips. We're right about here. I got to get through 2 resistance zones to get to about 100 pips. So I can either keep my 100 pips there, or I could tighten it up. And with the fib, I tighten it up. So now I see that price came back to this 38. It did not touch this 50 right off the bat. I'm thinking, all right, bet the 50 line and maybe like 5 pips below is my new stop loss. I've just saved myself how many pips? Let me see here. From that 100 to this 50 line, I saved myself 40 pips right off the bat, just in viewing it. So now my stop loss is 66 pips instead of 100. And I probably could tighten it even more and make it this resistance zone. So now my stop loss is 51 pips instead of 100, right? And on top of that, with the fib, my take profit, not only do I use it to tighten up my stop loss, but I also use it to extend my take profit. So now, what did I say? We doing 50 pip take profit, right? I'm doing this real quick and dirty for y'all. So we get in right here, 50 pips. You know, we got 37 pips to the zone. 50 pips ain't even on the screen right now. It's like right down here, right? My first take profit is actually at that zero line. So I know I'm gonna hit my 50 pips because price always comes back to zero if it's gonna continue to trend. That's what Fibonacci teaches you, right? But that's not my only take profit. That's take profit one. My take profit two is the inverse from where price actually touched on the fib line, touched 38. So now where am I going? I'm going to keep going down to the negative 38. That's take profit two. It ain't even on the screen, y'all.
Wow.
That's how a fib will work for you to tighten up that stop loss, extend your take profit, and everything, and also work in with that position size calculator that Matt and them just created, which I use dang near every day. By the way, y'all see that my EJ trade is gone. It hit that 50 pips and it took out.
Yeah, we wasn't going to ignore that. I wasn't letting that go. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, that was incredible. I feel like everybody listening to this just had to have learned so much from that. And that's very powerful, Jackie.
You're quite welcome. Hopefully I didn't overwhelm new people, but I tell you what, you want to know who taught me fib? Al taught me fib. Matt?
Another AP
Yep,
educator.
absolutely. Al taught me fib. He didn't know what he was doing when he taught it to me because he didn't know what he was getting ready to unleash on these markets when he did. But but hey, I can't take credit for learning that. I learned that from him, and I don't use it the same way he does. But I just take the knowledge. You always a student. Let it marinate. Practice it till it starts to work for you, so that you can connect to it and then execute.
Powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. Jackie, that was incredible. Tons of people saying that they hit TP on EJ as well. So if anybody, that was just great stuff. Coach Mo, I'd love to hear from you and kind of see a little bit of how your workflow goes down when it comes to your trading with NASDAQ and kind of how you operate. So I'd love to learn more. I'm sitting here taking notes. Like this is you know, I mean, this is a blessing to me.
Absolutely. I've just been a fly on the wall. I love this. Okay, let's see. I can actually share my screen, yeah?
Should be able to.
Let's see. How, because I know we're not, I'm trying to get it to like share like a certain part. Oh, I don't know. Guys, wow. Hold on. Oh, yay. Okay, I got it. Uh-oh.
Hey, Mo,
Oh,
while
no.
you're doing that, maybe we could address some of the questions in the chat. How about that?
Hey, let's do that. And I don't know.
You're fine. You're fine, my friend. You're fine. So we got a question here from Pedro. It says, my VPS remains slow even after the update. Any tips on this? So when's the last time you went to your main screen in your VPS and clicked on Windows Update? Because once you do you need to update your VPS every once in a while. It's going to make at least in my experience, when you update your VPS, it makes a significant difference in the speed of the VPS that we're using. Now, give that a try. It worked for me. Anyone else have any other solutions to the VPS speed?
That was exactly the same one I was going to recommend.
One of the things that you need to consider is if you have multiple softwares running on your VPS and one of them happens to be Gearbox, make sure that you shut down MarketWatch and Navigator because your charts have already been set up. Do the same on each other software. That will really save and free up CPU.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mariska. So the other thing, Mariska, because mine's a little different, but that some people like they can go and click update, right?
Yep. The
Yeah, they can click, they can update their own VPS. It shouldn't restrict
it's-
it.
No, and even your VPS is notifying you. You will get a big bar in the middle of your screen saying there are Windows updates. Now, I prefer to do that when the market's closed, because you'll never know how much time Uncle Gates will need to get your Windows version up to speed and up to date. But you get that notification. Make it a habit in the weekend to check if there is a Windows update. If there is, run that update. And also every weekend, make sure that you reboot your VPS, because that will clear your cache.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Let's see the next one here. Oh, really simple thing. Anyone that has their charts open that's willing to share, how do I make all my pairs so uniform like the dawn on screen one?
The Don has me cracking up.
Yeah,
That's
that's actually great, man. So yeah,
yeah.
just you show them, man.
You just use this button here. And so it's like you can bring any chart. Like I said, I had this chart here and this one here and this one over here and this one was bigger, whatever it is. Like this helps me out a lot. So that way it kind of evens everything up. It doesn't matter where everything is at. If you hit the button, it'll realign everything for you.
All right, so let's tippy toe very carefully around this next question. Are you trading on a US FX broker, and if not, what type of margin do you trade with on Forex? That is a very personal question, and I'm very happy that Mariska, our head of compliance, is here. Now I will speak of what I do personally. I don't use a US regulated Forex broker. Neither do I use a Canadian regulated broker, because they have a couple rules that they have to abide by, some pretty strict guidelines. So there's FIFO, there's the leverage restrictions. They actually can only allow you to use 50-to-1 leverage. And because we use different softwares, of course, and most of them don't work with 50-to-1 leverage. It's not in their best interest. I would say that myself, I use overseas brokers. When you have an A-list broker that you've been using for a while or whatnot, or you have a relationship with, you can. Here's regulation. Mariska, help me out a little bit, but and clarify if I speak out of line, okay?
Yeah.
So regulations are a very, very complicated mess. So you got US regulations, you got Canadian regulations, you got European regulations, you got Australian regulators. Every country, and in certain countries, every district or province or state has its own regulators. Foreign exchange market is not regulated the same way in every country. And just because the broker is not regulated in the United States of America doesn't mean that it's a bad broker. Because certain brokers, in order to accept US clients, they couldn't be regulated in the US, but they're regulated in other countries.
Yes, there are multiple very respectable brokers that do have all the licenses on each continent, but still have other locations, other branches to accommodate the needs of their clients. The only restriction is, from a regulation perspective, they cannot advertise that.
No, they can't, because, for example, and I won't talk too much about my own business experience and whatnot, but there are certain countries that if you do business with another country, you cannot do business with. Like, there's really strict rules. For example, the Cuban embargo.
Yep.
That's a real big one. It's a very complex situation, but and different countries are the same. Some are India. You can't do business with someone from Pakistan and whatnot. Lots of complex things. And that's why I never want to get into regulations. Let's put it that way. Mariska is
No, leave that
the
to
point on
me.
them.
And the
Yeah.
reality also is what I tell people often is like anything that's regulated, like the point is that if everybody were to have access to brokers that had higher leverage and things like that, like it allows people to make more money, which means that people would be necessary, like you would have more control over what it is that you have going on. Like with 1-30 or 1-50 leverage, you don't have the ability to do some of the things that you've seen people do inside of trading, because you can obviously use higher lot sizes and trade against each other and then do a lot of things that regulated brokers won't allow you to do. But when you just think about why would, like, if I was the government, why would I like want people that have access to 1 to 500 leverage and be able to trade crypto and all this other crazy stuff that people can do? The point is that I would rather have people paying a W-2 and ensuring that, as opposed to being able to create independent lifestyles and do all these things that we're able to do with having access to a market like this with the kind of leverage that we do. And you see the US dollar is going a little crazy right now, I guess, because inauguration is going on and all this stuff. So expect volatility.
It's one of the reasons why Auvoria Prime will not recommend any broker.
Jeez, this is a bag entry.
Is just talk with the community that you're part of, with your sponsor, with your uplines, see what brokers they are utilizing, check them out. Do your research. I mean, one of the things that I always say is if you look at a broker, don't start with a broker who has a history of only 6 months. That's no history. You have no idea how their liquidity would be if the market really gets crazy. And it would be nice if your broker can survive that, because they have good liquidity providers backing them.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is like also like knowing, and I know this is information that isn't available to everybody, but finding out what liquidity provider behind the scenes your broker has, because even with the new broker, like if they're backed with the same liquidity provider as another major broker, it's the same. It's basically the same thing. So you want to be aware. But look at this bag entry here for UCAD. This is nice.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Come on, man.
This is nice. So we didn't. This alert probably happened before we got on the call, like 8 o'clock, 8:30. So we're trying to only look at things when we got on. But you see here that UCAD was in a downtrend, that we had our bounce, we got our AIRO. There's plenty of space before our next zone. This would have been a definite bag entry that could have potentially.
There was a zone. There was a zone when.
There was a zone here.
Yep, there was a zone when the AIRO showed.
Interesting. Let's see. I want to go to the higher time frame as well.
Slice right through that zone. I mean, those are potential support and resistance zones, right?
Yeah, even taking it off of this bounce here, you could have taken this and held. Like I'm sure Jackie may have, or may have, she would have seen something like this, just trading from a longer term perspective, and then had an opportunity at a potential another entry here. When you're trading with the trend, zones in the opposite direction get broken all the time. So it's like just being aware and knowing when and when not you're going to enter and exit trades is always great. But again, like I say, like you'll see on this call, the people who are like, even Jackie herself is like, she's open about is learning. Like we're always a student, we're always getting better. So the more that you learn when it comes to manual trading, there's so much more on the table for you. It's kind of incredible.
That is such a fantastic move. Can I tell y'all? Because USD CAD, do we talk about pair correlation? If y'all don't talk about pair correlation or people don't know about it, please go search it, go learn about it, because USD CAD, remember I said I trade oil, right? So you see that big long drop that USD CAD is doing. If you look at oil, you'll see it doing the opposite.
Correlated in the opposite direction. Same thing with with
go ahead, Debbie. I see Debbie just jumped on here.
And yes. Coach Smoke, be ready to rock. Let me know. We can go ahead. I'm excited. I'm gonna see if we got any alerts.
I got you, Dante.
All right, perfect.
Actually, we just missed an entry.
Oh Lord, we missing entries? We don't do that.
Come on now.
All right, why? Hold on.
On US 30. I'll show you guys. Hold on just a second here. I figured it out. I figured out how to share my screen. I normally do Zooms anyways, but I was just trying to share the portion of the screen that we're allowed to share. Okay, so let's go.
Oh,
Okay.
one more thing. Sorry, Mo.
Yeah.
We just got a really important question. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it
Please.
says, what broker would you recommend, guys?
On your upline recommends to you.
Oh, like, we don't recommend brokers. We have brokers that we use, but I'm not licensed to provide financial advice, which financial advice is what broker am I going to use?
Now, what we are going to work on from the side of corporates is in your back office, just an overview of the most frequently used brokers by our customers.
Yeah, that'll be nice. So we can have, I'll just give people that. and give
That's
them-
great. That's
Yeah.
great, Mariska. I love it.
Yep.
Good. That's going to
something
alleviate a lot of things.
that's from a regulator perspective, that is okay.
Brilliant. Because this is a question we have all the time, and we don't want to be saying the words we recommend.
No, we can't. I see a comment like, would it be possible to include bad brokers on the list? No, we won't. Because
No, because
already will be providing financial advice. We will qualify a broker as not a good broker. So what we will do is only say these are the most frequently used brokers by our customers. And then you can do your own research with which one would suit you best. I mean, one may be open during weekends to trade crypto, another one will not.
that's great, Mariska. That's
There
awesome.
are depositing withdrawal methods that you are looking for, that one broker offers and another one will not. Those are all those little things that you need to do your own research on. And there always is a very good website. I keep repeating this one, forexpeacearmy.com. Use that site to check out brokers. Brokers fear that website.
Of course they do. There's big money to be made in being a broker. What?
You guys ready to learn?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
I'm waiting on
Enough
you.
with that. We got some more questions in the chat, but let's get
Let's do
into some teaching, and enough with this regulation and brokers talk.
Yeah, buddy. I love it. I love it. Well, it's always about, learning and growing. Guys, we're on a demo account because I'm running other trades on some of my live accounts. So I just kind of want to go out here and show you how many trades you could have taken on the M1. I'm a scalper. So I love, love scalping throughout the day. And it can kind of show you, how many trades you can get into without, some people get frustrated when they first start with AIRO because they're like, oh my gosh, there's not enough bag entries, right? And really it's all about timing, right? It's really about being patient and waiting for the trade to come to you, not wanting to push the market to go in your direction, because if you do, you lose. So you just got to hear I say it's like going into a stadium and seeing what the crowd is rooting for, Bears or Bulls, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I treat it. Like I literally sing my way through my trades. It's hilarious. Okay, so this morning when everything started, we were on an uptrend. As you can see, I'm going to show you how many trades you could have taken. Here's one trade. There was actually an arrow over here too this morning. So there was another trade. Here's another trade you could have gone in. This one, you would have had some drawdown. So the minute that you would have seen, well, let's go ahead and actually, a lot of times what I'll do is my peekaboo technique. So I'm going to teach you guys that in just a second here. But this probably would have been one of the trades that I wouldn't have got into because it would have probably been on my peekaboo technique where I literally, I'm on the 5, I drop down to the 1 and I see, these dark green candlesticks and I would have gone in. But here is a potential, but you would have had some drawdown and then it would have shot right back up, right? So here's another one, and this is the one we actually missed while on the call. Here's another one and here's another one. And really, if you're scalping, for, 25, 50 pips on US 30 or NAS, I mean, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, we would have gotten out of that trade and hit our stop loss 5, 6, 7, and then there was an 8 over here. Okay, that's 8 trades and only 1 loss or potential not we would have got in at all. But that's how I scalp throughout the day. I'm going down to the lower time frames and looking at what's going on. One of the things I do with the fib, because Jackie is absolutely correct, is based on your own power of perception. I learned this during my trading journey, is that when you're actually scalping on lower time frames like the M5 or the M1, to go up to the M15 or M30 and draw your fib there. Okay. That has actually helped me get some of my larger winning days, is when I see that it's hit the high and the low of the day, and then I will draw my, let's go to the M30. I'll draw my fib from the high and the low of the day, and I'm trying to catch the retracement. Okay, so I'm trying to catch it as it goes up, and as you see, if I would have caught the high and the low day of yesterday's, I would have literally been able to ride it to the 23.6, the 38, and then even up to the 61.8. And guys, I know that once you guys start learning fib, 61.8 is like gold. It is 9 times out of 10, it'll hit that. If it hits the 23.6, that means that the trend is going to continue. If it was a downtrend, it'll continue downwards. If it completely reverses off to 23.6. If it's an uptrend and it goes up, it'll hit the 23.6, go down a little bit, and then continue up. So if it ever hits the 23.6 and reverses hard, you want to make sure that you're not holding that retracement trade, because that means that the trend is actually going to continue. So I love the fib. I'm with Jackie. I'm all about the Fibonacci, and I do that throughout the day. I'm like constantly on my charts looking at what's going. And my bread and butter, folks, is the bag entry. That is my bread and butter. Is follow the trend direction, and then as well as once you follow the trend direction, is just make sure that you're catching those bag alerts. Bounce off a zone, get the up arrow, go, right? Bounce off the zone, get the arrow, go. And that's the reason why a lot of people like the higher time frames, is because you can actually catch multiple entries, but they're stronger, right? For me, I scalp the M1 and the M5 because I'm in and out all throughout the day. Does that make sense? Anybody got any questions? Y'all heard me?
Yeah, that was great.
Oh,
that was awesome. But a question for you though.
Yeah, talk to me.
In the chat, we got on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. What are you using for your take profit and your stop loss once you get that retracement to either 61.8 or 38.2?
Mm-hmm. So first and foremost is it's kind of weird. I personally, if I'm using the retracement tool, if I am getting in right at the double zeros and I'm retracing to 23.6, I 9 times out of 10 get out at that first level. That's just me because I'm a scalper, right? However, what you could do is take partial profit at 23.6 and leave a small, lot size on the board, and then continue to keep that running. And that's probably the smarter way of doing it. And that's what I'm going to transition into. But I've always been a scalper, and I've remained that way. However, locking arms with other traders. And I'm so glad that everybody is here, because you guys are learning how different people trade, right? And so locking arms with other traders and seeing that they can hold their trades longer than I have really gives me, I don't know, just motivation and hope that I can even earn even that much more money. You know what I'm saying? So my take profit and stop loss is based on, my stop loss is based on how much I'm willing to lose. First of all, I always get in with the game with the end of mind. And then as far as, take profit, if I'm using my fib, I'm going to the 23 almost every single time. You know what I'm saying? For my take profit. And that would be TP1, and then riding the rest TP2 with a partial lot size going up. Does that make sense, everyone?
That's great. one question for you. Those
Yeah, talk to me.
those blue arrows and whatnot on your chart. Talk about that for a minute here.
Okay, this is it, guys. This is what I used when I first began, just to kind of train my eyes on fractal highs and fractal lows, and I love them. Fractal highs and fractal lows will actually teach you when there's going to be either a temporary change in the direction of the trend or a long-term change. Okay, so let me show you on the chart what I'm talking about. For example, over here, right? You had a fractal low right here. The next candle, as the next candle closed, you could have gotten on this next candle, the third candle here. Let me move in a little bit closer. Okay, so we got a fractal low here, right? That means that the actual trend direction for that moment is going to change either temporarily or for long term. Okay, so I would have gotten in on this candle and kept riding it up. Same thing here happened. It was going down. It performed a fractal high, right? And then it temporarily changed only on this candle. Okay, and then it continued to go up. So it shows you, this is a better fractal high. I like this one because it actually shows you that it was going up for a moment and then it went completely down. So it just shows you like temporary change or long-term change. That's what I love about it, is because I'll wait. If I see that forming, I'll get in on the next candle because I know that it's not going to go beyond the moving average. It's going to continue to rise up. Does that make sense to everyone?
I think I think personally, some people fractals may throw people off. So
They might.
maybe if we kind of pull back a little bit, or
Yeah, see, for me, and Matt, at the end of the day, what I teach people, follow the bag entry. I cannot stress that enough. I can't stress that enough. People really need to follow the bag entry because that's what actually made me be more successful in my wins, my tradings. My every trade that I take now, I'm now having anywhere from 80-90% winning ratio every single week. You know what I'm saying? So
phenomenal.
For me, it's all about the bag. At the end of the day, I can add in like additional indicators, and for me, it's just like more indicators mean for me more confirmation, right? So I'll use the RSI like you see on here, and then I'll use. So I actually believe here we might have hit our high of the day, to be honest with you, but we'll see because we're still. US 30 and NAS and S&P like to go crazy between now and the next 2 to 3 hours. So we might have hit the high of the day. But I use indicators, my apologies, as additional confirmation, right? Because confirmation then equals out to confidence in your trade. The more confirmation you can have, the better it is. But that bag entry, if you guys can master strategy 1, you can't go wrong. You really can't. Like, that's just my opinion. I've tested it out over and over and over again, and I'm way more successful in my trading now, especially being a scalper with the bag entry, bounce, arrow, and then go, right? Versus just trying to mark up my charts and see where I want to get in at. Does that make sense for everybody? Oh, there's questions.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. I think that perspective is great. And for everybody to know that like being and able to see 3, 4, 5 different people go into how they trade is awesome. It doesn't mean that everything that you see, you automatically implement into your trading. You want to make sure that everything starts with understanding strategy 1. Like all of us are here because we really love AIRO and love how the software makes everything easy for us to see. So we want to make sure that everybody, if this may be a little overwhelming for you, that you start and you practice and you master strategy 1, and that all of this is really an add-on to get your entries better, to get your profiting better. Like it's gonna. I've learned so much this call. It's been crazy. I cannot wait. I'm very excited to trade. I know we got a lot of stuff going on in the markets today, but I think that was great, Coach Mo. And I learned a lot. I love the perspective. You're not going to get any change of the trend on a higher time frame without it happening first on a lower time frame. So if you are able to plug in and really scalp, like you can make just even more money than just trading on the 15-minute. But it starts there for a lot of people who have never traded Forex before, and then you casually grow your way. How long have you been trading, Coach Mo? Let me ask just that. Just curious.
So my trading started last year, and I'm one of those people that I catch on to things very, very, very quickly. So in my average job, I used to work for the federal government, and they made fun of me because I was the highest promoted or the quickest promoted manager in history with the federal government, because I went literally straight to the top. And the reason being why is because I believe in Pareto's law, right? The 80-20 rule. 20% of what you do equals 80% of your results. In this trading game, your 20% is going to be your bag entry, right? The Fibonacci and everything we're teaching you guys is literally the advanced way of trading that allows you to catch when arrows don't appear on your chart. Because Nate will tell you that there are 2 arrows when the trend is actually trending, right? There are 2 arrows that happen, right? First is confirmation that a trend change has happened. And then the second arrow is confirmation that the trend is continuing. All right. So with that being said, how do you get into a trade if, you know, like the trend is continuing and you don't know where to go? You know, you can stay out of it, but some of us advanced traders will get into trades if we know and we've drawn a fib and we can know exactly, you know, where the market is actually heading because we can see it, right? So I've been super successful with this. And just like I posted my average now with AIRO, I used to have average of $1,000 to $2,500 days, but because of AIRO, I'm having averages of $3,500 to $7,500 days. Okay. Again, past results don't equal future results. So please don't take what I'm sharing with you and think that you're going to be there right away. You got to get into the game, you got to learn, and you got to practice. Here's what I say, Donta, is that when you're getting into Forex, you know, and you want to become a pro, you really got to show up and practice, right? So it's kind of like going to the NFL, and you start with the NFL, and those guys have been practicing ever since they were in elementary school. Right? So you can't go into Forex thinking just, oh my gosh, out the gate. However, because of AIRO
Come on,
AIRO
Mo.
takes the curve off, man. It takes that elementary, middle school, and high school years off, and you just go straight into college pro Forex ball. You know what I'm saying?
There's still a learning curve, right?
Say that again.
There's still a learning curve, though.
There
like,
definitely
there is a learning curve. So if you're brand new to this and you may be completely lost, understand you're lost in the right direction. You've got the right people with you, surrounding you. And all we want to see is everyone just grow together. Now, someone like Coach Mo, hey, that's a vision, right? That's where I'd like to be in the future. You know, I'm not there. I'm not trading that big of an account yet.
Yeah.
I like that saying, you're lost in the right direction.
Yeah. And some people are going to be, because we went over a lot of information. We talked about position sizing. We talked about Fibonacci. We talked about fractals. We talked about, and some people haven't even put their own, their first demo trade in. So you're in the right spot. You're not going to get this anywhere else.
The truth. And what I tell everybody all the time is that, like, you want to begin with the end in mind. So it's like when you get exposed to something like this, like what's the point? Like where do you want to be at with trading in 2 to 3 years from now? And I think that it's very difficult for people at times to even 1 year. Like, see, Coach Moses said she just started trading last year. So imagine where you can be at in your trading career in 12 months from today. And I think that how you operate in your 2021 is going to dictate that. So it's like, if you participate and hop on calls like these and make it a priority to you on a day in and day out basis as become available, and we're going to do more. I'm telling you, like, all of us are not going to all be doing calls simultaneously all the time. Like, we're going to be able to like break out, and there's going to be multiple sessions from people that are more advanced. So there's so much. But the point is that is in a year from now, like you could be having results like Coach Mo is having. So because some people will let like numbers like that intimidate them and make them fearful as far as like where they really see themselves at, because they may be trading on an account that only has a couple $100s on it right now. And that's okay, because we all started on accounts that were like that, because you got to build that confidence up before you be able to do it. But I want people to really understand and to take in home that this is something like manual trading. Even though AIRO is super easy and super simple, there is still such a process behind you learning, getting confident, and then really being able to make a full-time income from your trading while you could do so many other things. So it's exciting. I want to encourage and remind everybody to think about where you want to be in your trading journey. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week, but in 6 months, in 12 months from now. And then it'll light a new fire under you when it comes to your studying and it comes to your education, because you'll realize that the more you learn, the closer you are to what freedom looks like to you. So I think that it's a beautiful thing. Jackie says she's still trading on accounts for $100 just to show people it can be done. I agree. I'm with that, just because a lot of times people just feel overwhelmed. They're like, oh, if I'm not trading with a 10K account or 20K account, like I shouldn't be doing this. And that's not the truth, because you can start trading with a 10K account tomorrow and you're probably going to blow it if your skill set is not sharp. So if you get that time into practice while you're building up to that point, you will really reap the benefits of what we're trying to do here.
That's totally true, Don. That's totally true. You need to be able to trade the smaller dollars before you get into the big dollars.
Amen.
I tell you, trading six-figure account is different, bro. Like,
yes, it is.
Bro, the highest lot size I ever dropped was like 80 lots. And when I'm telling you, like the 80 lots and 25, 30 pips of drawdown is a different level of, like, you know what I mean? Like, of trading, because of the emotions that come on the back end of it. But I was prepared and I had already practiced so much to get myself to that point. Like, I was trading on $100,000 demo accounts when I only had $1,000 in my accounts, because I wanted to see what that process looked like. So that way, when it started to happen for me, it wasn't unfamiliar and I was able to make the correct decisions. But that comes with, like Coach Mo said, you don't look at professionals in anything and just assume that it happened in a month. Like, no, that's not how this works. So it's like, it's a process, but it's so worth it. And when you really think about the other things that, like, people commit 4 years to go to school, to go to college, just to be still in chains for the rest of their life and not having the freedom it is they're looking for. Like, imagine if you were to commit 3 to 4 years to really learning and mastering this. Like, I haven't even been trading all the way for a complete 4 years yet. We're talking about 3 and some change for myself. And I've already had 6-figure withdrawals, meaning I've taken it out of the market and put it into the bank and paid taxes on it, all of that. So it's like, it's if you just put yourself in the mindset of, this is where I need to be, I'm in the right spot. There's unlimited income on the back end of me understanding this and really mastering it. And it's worth my time and attention to pay attention to the people who have already been doing this, and to realize that paying $120 a month for access to this kind of knowledge on a day out and day in basis is a steal. It's a steal. Like, the knowledge that's been given out on this call already it was worth so much more than $100. It blows my mind, but I digress.
Preach on, Dante. Preach on.
I got nothing to say. Wow.
Donta said, take me to church.
Man.
Well,
and look,
the
whole time we were talking, I'm still looking to see if we got any trades.
Right. I'm like, all right, we got one more minute.
Hey, we got trades or what?
No, man, the markets are trending so much. Ain't nobody doing nothing. They're going one direction.
I'm nervous to even see, you know what I mean? I want to see, it got to be clean for me to hop in right now. Like, after EJ yesterday, that was too perfect. Like,
and it's still going.
Well, I like what Coach Mo said earlier on about going into the big leagues. Well, you know what? When you're playing with $100,000 trading account, you're in the Super Bowl. So you're not going to go in with inexperience and not know what you're going. You need to know every play.
Matt, that's not the Super Bowl for me. I ain't gonna lie to you, Matt. Let's not put a limit on none of that. I can't let you do that.
Okay, come on now.
The trading account is not the limit, is not the max. I have friends of mine who withdrew $10 million from the markets in 2020. People that I know. So, like, to put a lid on what I can't, because it's 236 people on here. There's people on here who
go ahead.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you gotta realize that I'm learning and I'm leveling up every day. Like, I'm demo accounting right now on $1 million accounts, so that way I'm comfortable with that. So there is no limit, there is no cap. There's $6.6 trillion traded every day, and no human being can tell you how much you can or cannot make. It's really on you. So, like, think like that is even for somebody who's trading a 6-figure account, it's still levels that there's still a next level. 100%.
I like
Oh,
that.
yep.
But what I
Straight
was
facts.
going to talk about just really briefly, okay, was the fact that you knew your knowledge of system performance. You knew what your win rate was. You knew what your percentage win, what you could do or not, because there was a lot less emotion in it because you've had hundreds of demo trades.
Absolutely. Hundreds of real losses too. Real serious
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're talking real.
Absolutely. Matt, what did you teach me, Matt, when we were learning wedges? Matt said you need to go back. And if you're going to learn something new, you need to do it over like 500 wedges or something like that. Didn't you tell me that, Matt? And what I tell you?
500
Oh,
wedges.
I
you
went
made
and
me.
drew all
She
those
made me.
daggone wedges.
All right, listen. She popped up in our AIRO class, and she's like, "I want to learn these wedges." I'm like, "All right, here, go back. We got all the alerts. Let's do 500." And once you get 500 wedges drawn, you're gonna know how to draw them, and then you're gonna understand the realities of it. So you go back and you take 500 demo trades in AIRO. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. Okay, doesn't matter. Let it take you 2, 3, 4 months. It doesn't matter, because once you get this and now you have knowledge of system performance, you know your win rate and your percentages. There's no more second guessing. It's, hey, check this out. We're going in. There's no emotion because I've already taken 500 trades of the same type with the same criteria, and I know what the win rate is. If I'm going to lose 10% of the 500 trades, who cares? If I'm going to lose 20% of the 500 trades, who cares? Because you may end up in a week where you're going to take 10 losses in a row. That may happen, but you can't get discouraged, because in the long run, you have your knowledge of system performance. So you need to understand that odds are not always going to be on your side, but if you have the greater picture in mind, then you can go over those those speed bumps that are bound to happen. It's going to happen. But just because you take multiple losses in a row doesn't mean the system's broken. It just means you got to keep on going as long as you know your system works.
I love that.
One thing I wanted to say, as much as I love the user friendliness and how AIRO is absolutely cutting the learning curve. I mean, Dante and I talk about it all the time. If we had this 3 years ago, you know, how much faster we probably would have become profitable, and just how easy it is for the newest person to actually see the charts. But the key is, once again, you know, as easy as it makes it, people still are going to have to endure and grow through the psychological aspects of trading. Just because the software can increase your probabilities and percentages, it still doesn't mean that mentally people are just going to all of a sudden be ready to start throwing, you know, certain lots around that will actually change their life. And that doesn't mean they have to, but the reoccurring thing that I'm still hearing from everyone is the repetition. And at the end of the day, if you want to become a great chef, you got to bake 100 cakes before you actually decide to open a shop. You know, if I think somebody was talking about how this is, you know, before this, people would have to go from high school to college to the NFL. This is essentially allowing people to just jump right in because of how simple it makes it. But the actual mentality of trading, when Dante talked about dropping 80 lots, you know, the most lots I've ever been live in a trade is 140 lots. And before that, I remember Dante and I's first year in trading, we viewed a one lot as like 100 lots. And that's why Dante had to essentially make sure everyone knows a 6-figure account isn't the Super Bowl, because as you're progressing, and everybody should be progressing, everybody should look each year at their overall growth as a trader and set goals for the next year. And that doesn't mean if you become comfortable using a 1.0 that you shouldn't keep using that. But in my opinion, the purpose of getting into trading, the purpose of being in the largest financial market, not kind of a big one, the largest financial market on planet Earth, is we really have that opportunity to go in and claim as much of it as we want if we have the mentality for it. Like I watch YouTube videos of poker players putting 250,000, 500,000 on a single hand, and that's luck of the draw. Obviously, there's some skill involved, but it's just the concept where if there's another human being out there in the world that doesn't even blink when they put 250,000, 500,000 into a single hand, then that just shows me mentally I have to keep elevating. I have to keep growing. I can't, if I drop a 10 lot with a 30 pip stop loss, I can't be sitting there shaking in my boots over 1,500 in drawdown. So it's just the concept, guys. As easy as AIRO is going to make your trading system, I still want people to really focus on getting those reps in and being aware of leveling up mentally, because that's the only way you're really going to see the growth year after year after year. I know people who have still been using the same lot sizes since I met them in 2017. And they're like, oh my gosh, Jason, how have you made 6 figures in a day now? Like, we started at the same time, because every single day I was focused on improving my mentality. I was focused on trying to see what could actually be possible. I was demoing with bigger accounts when people made fun of me. Oh, Jason, he's always demoing with big lots. Okay, the same reason in football, when I was at a Division I program, I was treating practice every day like it was a game. And then, what do you know? When I play in the game, I win MVP. If you stay ready, you never have to get ready. So in trading, it's the same thing. Even if right now you don't have $100,000, what if you started with the end in mind? What if you were already trading $100,000 demo account, so that way you could get used to the thought of what that would feel like to place those trades? So that's my little 2 cents. But I just love, like Donta said, the value of this call. I've learned so much, even just seeing the different rates in comparison for the currency pairs and the lot sizes. I had no clue that a standard lot would deviate that much depending on the currency pair. And I've been trading for 3 years. So we're all still continuing to learn. We're all still continuing to elevate our game. And I'm just so grateful for these communities. I'm grateful for AIRO. The way I compare AIRO to trading is like being a fighter jet pilot. You know, you could be in World War II and have all the skill set in the world. But imagine if somebody says, hey, we can give you a lock-on indicator that when you shoot this missile, it's going to give you an 85, 90% hit rate. Yeah, I would be a fool to not be using a product like AIRO. So shout out
Jason,
to everyone that's plugging into these calls.
Jason, I love that. I love that. I love that. I think that a couple things that I want to add on to specifically what you said. One, firstly, I used to definitely like make fun of Jason when we first started trading, because he used to trade like bigger lot sizes on demo accounts, and I used to be like, why? And I never. It took me a while to implement that into my own game and really mature and realize that what he was doing was preparing himself, and that I wasn't taking trading serious at the time. And I learned from that. And the second thing he said, he brought up the word repetition again. And I have a multimillionaire friend of mine who's actually going to be speaking. He's a mentor of mine who's going to be speaking at the virtual convention for Auvoria Prime on the 30th. Who taught me this. He was telling me about a story. He was talking to a billionaire, and he was telling him how getting wealthy it should be, although like it's fun, it's going to be boring. Like it's boring. Getting wealthy to a certain point is boring, because you're doing a lot of the same things over and over and over again, and the human mind has a difficulty with staying focused over time. So it's like for Matt to say, I said on the call, Matt, the other day, I was like 100 demo trades. I was like, you need to take 100 demo trades and document every trade and know why you entered and exited every single trade. And to hear you say to a 500, I respect that so much, because it's the truth. Because like if that's like, if you're coming to get mentored, you're like, okay, your first thing you need to do is go draw 500 wedges, and then you're going to understand this at enough level for us to be able to talk and teach to continue. I just think that is very, very powerful. And you want to have it, the term that we're kind of lightly referencing is called auto suggestion. And auto suggestion means that it pretty much means when you have an idea, or you have whatever knowledge it is imprinted into your brain, like you don't have to think about it. You're automatically going to suggest, like how we can see the chart, and in 3 seconds we can already know what kind of trend it is, or we can already know, like, you know what I mean? Because our brain has already, it's automatically suggesting it. And the things that you want in your life, if you want to have those be like automatically suggested into your subconscious while you're doing it. This plays in this whole game of becoming a true trader at a level to where like you can be free from trading. We're not trading to play around and to have this be something that we're just doing on here to do it. Like, no, we want people's lives transformed. I can't wait to see people at the events that are gonna be like, hey, I was on these live calls with you guys for these couple of months, and I was able to put my kid through college, or to be able to, you know what I mean? Some stuff, it's the stories that are gonna come from what we're talking about right now is gonna be powerful. I'm very excited. I wish we had some more trade opportunities though.
Yeah, straight. I know some people in the chat were talking about they were in certain trades, but I didn't see any alerts pop up.
Right. I'm about to say I didn't see no alerts. I saw somebody talking
So
about AU.
yeah, they must have been. And I'm like, cause I'm like, how y'all in alerts?
This one's a
And
little early, I guess. This probably came out around what was that, like 7, 8 today.
oh,
But
okay,
yeah, if you were
okay.
in this from earlier, you were waiting on it. You definitely could have took that. Um,
That's a beautiful move. Today is just
mhm.
a trending day. That's what it is. The markets do that sometimes. Strong trend. We have an inauguration going on today, y'all.
Right.
Things is gonna kind of move in the way they're moving. This is a great week though. Somebody's in up US 30. Go ahead. I said in there. I celebrate all wins. I don't care if you did it in demo or you did it in live. A win is a win, y'all. Take
100%.
that. You know. But yeah, I will say on that Wednesday, yeah, Matt taught me how to do that, and he didn't think I was actually gonna go back and draw him.
I
He's
Mm,
like, no.
didn't. I didn't. Because listen, people talk a lot, okay? You
mm.
you say things and then you're like, yeah, oh, I didn't think she was going to do it because I didn't know Jackie very well, okay? But ever since she took those 500, she went back and drew 500 wedges. I I knew there was something special about her. So over the course of the last couple months, we've been talking quite a bit and spending a lot of time. And the amount of information I've learned from Jackie is just really, really game changing. So just really thankful for like the community that we have. Don, you got me good there. You got me good.
What do you mean?
Oh, just the whole vision, right? The when you were talking about, oh well, that's not the Super Bowl.
I mean, it's the truth,
You're
bro.
making me making me grow faster than I would have on my own. That's what happens when you start hanging out and spending time and connecting with people like Jason and Monique and Mariska and Jackie. You know, they help you remove the limits that you put on yourself. So your self-limiting beliefs, it kind of
Mm.
goes out the window pretty stinking fast when you see people like Don and Jackie doing some great results.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of these calls, is the same way a little short-term resistance might pop up on people's AIRO screen. We are all limited by our own thinking. So
Mm.
oftentimes we can create our own resistance levels. And if you don't have somebody to all of a sudden add volume to your belief and be able to just absolutely help you, like Mr. Byron Nelson added volume to my belief. Mr. Byron Nelson put so much liquidity inside of my belief, inside of my faith, that I just absolutely shot through resistance levels. When I first met Mr. Byron Nelson, I was probably my biggest trading day was maybe like I don't know, like 12K, 13K, something like that. After meeting Mr. Byron Nelson, next time I met him, I had done 6 figures in a day. So it's just the thought process, the concept of when you get around people that are pouring life into you, pouring belief into you, adding liquidity to your belief system, then you can't, by default, you have to decide, do I believe what they're saying, or do I stay content? And that's why I love these calls so much. That's why I have to surround myself and have been, arm in arm with Donta since I met him in 2017. Because when we met, we had nothing. So how is it two guys meet each other in 2017 with no money to their name, and yet we're still walking around and people think that we're 6-7 figure earners? It's all about how we carry ourselves. So I absolutely love these calls. I know that there's going to come a time where we have thousands of people on these AIRO calls, and they're just soaking up game.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of what you said, even about Jackie doing the 500 wedges and drawing them up. Guys, I need y'all to understand this. If you're not passionate enough about wanting to change your life, you don't have to be passionate about trading, because I wasn't passionate about trading either. I actually hated it. I was confused about the charts. I didn't know what I was getting into, but I was passionate about changing my life. So if you guys are actually going to be passionate about seeing real change, about getting real results, about withdrawing from the market, it's going to take that level of commitment. 500 wedges, seeing, okay, how many different bag, alerts or methods can I utilize? I'm telling you, if you want to make a little bit of money, go ahead, treat it like a hobby. You want to make hobby money, treat it like a hobby. If you understand that this is a $1 trillion market and you can pull out as much of it as you decide, then you'll be doing at least 500 wedges. Then you'll be hopping on every AIRO session. Then you'll be tapping into Nate's strategies in the back office.
And ask yourself, if you really want change and you struggle now with Forex, what's the alternative?
Mm.
What will you do to make the kind of money that you can be making in Forex if you allow yourself that learning curve?
That was powerful. She said, "What else would you be doing?" And when you
Facts.
really think about it, like when you
It's
can
not
we all
real
just be
estate.
honest?
It's not real estate.
It's like if we just being honest with ourselves, like what else can provide like this level of free? I've literally taken trades. I've literally gotten on planes, taken trades before the flight, and have made double and triple what the flight even cost me in air while taking the trade. Like, and like I remember when I used to be scared to buy Wi-Fi on a plane because I didn't want to waste $12. Like, so it's like it's the shift that can happen in your life by really plugging into this is so powerful. And I hope that that's why I love networking. That's why I love, like, there's a difference. Like, imagine if this company just sold AIRO and didn't have a community. Like, you could just sell AIRO with the bag strategy instructions and people could be successful with it. But having a community, that's why we're going to have this event. Like you heard me and Jason mention Mr. Nelson. He's going to be speaking at the event on the 30th. Like, you want to figure out how people have leveled up, because I got around people who are playing at a different level. And that came through networking, which I know some of us traders hate that word and we stay away from it. But like, if you go look at the leaderboards in Auvoria Prime, I see Jackie's name up there too, which means that she's sharing the wealth of what it is that we have. And a lot of us, we look at this so small and so selfishly to think that, okay, well, I don't want to introduce anybody to trading until I make $1 million trading. That doesn't make any sense. There's people all around you every single day who are starving for to be a part of a community like this, starving for it. People staying in their house that can't even go hang out with friends, and people haven't seen their grandmother in a year, and all types of craziness going on right now. And to think that a lot of us look at this as only an opportunity for us, where you're playing way too small. And the only way for you to think bigger is to get around people who are thinking much bigger, which is why we do what it is that we can to expose and introduce people as possible. But it's like, you got to be there. You got to come to this event. I guarantee you're going to get everybody, mark my words right now. Every human being who gets on this call on the 30th, who has never heard Mr. Byron Nelson speak before, the minute that he's done talking, you're going to have a completely different, your energy inside of your heart is going to be different. If you don't believe, do it just for me. Like do it. Don't even do it for you right now.
Do it for yourself.
I try to, they don't do it. They don't want to do it for themselves because they would have already done it. We already told you to buy the ticket. Why you don't have it already? It's 250 people on the call. And I'm just being honest, but it's you guys think that it's like, oh, well, I don't want to do any of the networking. It's all a mindset. It's one and the same. I made 6 figures in 2020 from trading and from networking. Why would you stay away from that money? It's on both. We're playing this all one and the same. I would have not gotten exposed to Forex, and now I have exposed thousands of people to it. If somebody wasn't networking, and when they saw me, they said, listen, you got to hear about this Forex stuff. They made it important to tell me about it. And now it's affected thousands of people's lives because of something that changed my life. So it's like, if you're looking at this as only for you, you're looking at it wrong. Tell me.
I'll tell you
Ripple
what,
effect.
I will jump in that. We are just talking about this, and it's so powerful, and everybody listening. We're talking like this because I know people are like, well, we're not taking no trades. That's because the 2 trades that just got called out, they didn't meet the requirements. We're not going to take no trade. What do we say? You follow the rules of AIRO. Follow the rules. You on the M15 chart, okay? When you're on the M15, you need to be trading in the money zone. Okay, money zone is from 1 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That 12-hour period, you're on the M15, trade in the money zone. That's one of the rules. The second rule, you need to follow the trend. Strategy number 1. Remember, we keep talking about strategy number 1. Master strategy number 1, bag entry method, right? Following the trend, though. You can take a bag entry doing a counter trend, but we say, and this is what's been, it's not just us, it's Nate, the developer of this software, the successfulness to make sure that you are consistently winning, not just winning every now and then, consistently winning. Discipline yourself. Follow the trend. Donta has showed us how to follow the trend. You zoom out, right? You zoom all the way out. You count your zones. You have it. 2 pink zones on the screen right now, 2 green zones on the screen right now. Donta actually educated me yesterday, did you not? About when you have an even number of zones, then you have to count how many pips there are between the zones to be able to do further analysis as to whether or not that is a valid trade. You know, it's not always, did I get an alert? Let's just go take the trade. There are rules to follow. You got to make sure you follow the rules. In you following the rules, you are disciplining yourself. In disciplining yourself, that is how you will be successful, and that is how you become a trader and not a gambler.
Mm.
Okay? Because I do both. You know what I'm saying? I really
Gusto.
should. I should not be a trader because I gamble, you know.
That is
But
funny.
I play a Texas Hold'em poker
Mm.
all the time. You know, and my husband says it all the time. So he's like, "You really need to stay away from the table, Jaggy." But you know, but that's the thing. I feel like with a lot of times when people get in systems, and I'm not going to call this an indicator. It is a system because you have all these different strategies. You should not be getting overwhelmed with the information. If you're getting overwhelmed with the information that's being given to you, it's because you're thinking too much. You just need to relax. You just take in what's being told to you, but not everything may apply to you at this point. Okay? Not at this point, but it will apply to you as you just continue to listen. For those of you who are brand new to AIRO, to trading, right? They talked about the learning curve, okay? And I see he's going through that GBP USD. That's uptrend. If we get a down arrow, don't take that trade.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, speak that out, eh?
Don't take that trade. I don't. If you are new, if you only take that trade if you are good at it, okay? Because that would be a counter trend. I told y'all yesterday, I am not good at counter trend trading. You will not see me take a counter trend trade unless there is a strategy with rules that I have qualified and I have followed and I've done 500 trades on it to know. And it has to be 90% or higher winning accuracy for me to even apply it. That's my level of determination with these trades. I try to maintain 90% or higher winning accuracy. Because anything less than that, I know I got to go back and demo.
Come on, Jackie.
You know what I mean?
Girl, go ahead.
And how many trades do I tell y'all? I said yesterday, how many trades do I take a week, y'all? Live. I take 1 to 2 trades a week. That is it. I swing trade. I told y'all I'm on the H1. I don't do the M15 only because I'm busy. I got kids. I got grandkids and kids. I'm too busy for that. I'm taking kids to daycare and all this. Too much going on. I got to be on the H1. That's me. But I also did it because I know there's a lot of people that work at 8 to 5. I'm telling y'all, I grew up in an area that ain't the best. And what Donta was talking about as far as sharing the opportunity and you keeping it for yourself, that's selfish. Why would you do that? I could tell you, I have a bunch of people behind me, all from the same area that I am, and that I'm teaching them to do $100 because stimulus is coming out in the U.S. Y'all, don't front like I don't know because we're gonna talk about it.
That stimulus just hit.
That's Timmy.
That
You know
stimmy.
what I'm saying?
Listen.
So let's not front on this, y'all. We just got through Christmas. Or if you celebrate it, you know, we just went through the holidays. A lot of people got their little red bottom shoes. A lot of people got some Jordans. But I can tell you what, if y'all would have took that $100 and put that to the side for a trading account, y'all be right here taking trades with AIRO. That would be over a month of trades and building that account. Discipline. Okay, if you really want to do this and you want to take this seriously, you want to make this money, you're going to have to apply yourself. But don't just come up in here and say, well, there's an alert. Let's go ahead and take this trade. You're going to blow your account.
Yeah, you can't take everything. You can't take everything.
And I'm not saying, and we all lose trades. We ain't nobody here say they 100% in their trades.
If you're 100%, you're full of tartar sauce, man.
You absolutely are. And I've blown many accounts. But the whole point is, I guarantee you, after I've blown that account, whatever I did wrong, I didn't do that mess again.
Well, you had to learn what not to do, right? You had to learn what not to do to figure out what actually works. The last thing you want to do in the Forex is get lucky.
Exactly.
You do not want to get lucky.
Exactly. I'm just saying all this to make sure that I talk to the people that are beginners here. And the only thing that you as a beginner is anything that we say out of this, the only thing you need to focus on is that you got AIRO, you watched strategy 1 video, because you can't be in this call and you did not watch that video if you have this software, correct? Otherwise, then why would you be on this call? Don't come to this call unless you actually watch the video, so you know what we're talking about, right? So that you could help yourself in understanding. After that, focus and practice and demo on strategy 1. If you got the time to be on the M15, keep your behind on the M15 and practice that strategy 1 over and over and over again. And the only reason why you will continue to do it is because you know that you are trying to make yourself better. So that way you're going to be on this call talking to everybody else and 200 something people, telling them about your Forex journey, telling them about how you started with bag 1. And then you're going to start talking about how that's all I use. And you still doing good. You see what I'm saying? So that right there was just out for those people that feel like they're getting overwhelmed. Don't get overwhelmed, because you letting it get to you. Don't let that happen. All your job is to do today is to focus on strategy 1, focus on the bounce arrow go, practice that. And then you know what? I want you to come to me. I want you to talk to me. Come DM Jackie. And then I want you to show me that you took 100 trades. I'm giving you a minimum. I didn't even say 5. I said 100. Show me 100 trades, and you show me that you did that bag entry on every single one, and you show me that you have an 80% or higher winning accuracy. And you want to know why you're going to show that to me? Because you're going to be proud of yourself that you did it. You're going to show everybody that you applied yourself to this. This ain't no game. I just told y'all, we're not gambling here. These are educated, informed risks that we are taking with these trades. I'm not gambling.
I love this. So I always hear this all the time, that the Forex is a minefield. Well, your map to the minefield is bags, but you need to know what the map says. You need to understand what the map says. You need to study the map. If you don't study the map, you're going to get blown up as soon as you walk in there.
It's only a minefield for people who walk in without having a clue what they're doing and refusing to take any advice or training or coaching from people who have proven to know what they are doing.
Like there's going to be like Auvoria Prime in a very short time. Like we're talking about, in my opinion, we're talking about 24 to 36 months. It's going to be looking at multiple hundreds of thousands of customers being a part of this community. So it's like they're going to be leaders bred out of this, people that have access to this now. Like you're blessed to know about this before the rest of the world finds out. And it's really a position for you guys to really step up and to take advantage and to create those stories for yourselves. Because there's going to be stories that get created, whether it's going to be you or somebody else. There's going to be success stories popping out left and right from Auvoria Prime. So the more that you hear about them, and you hear about the Coach Moles and the Jason Stewarts and the Jackies and the Dantes and the Mariscas in the world, there's going to be many more stories that are coming. And we're trying to encourage you to go and create your own stories, so that, because it's even though like we want it for you, it's not for us. Like it's for you to have that moment. And so that way you'll be the one leading calls, and you'll be the one teaching the people in your community and earning residual income and active income. And like, there's so much that's coming out of this platform, and nothing is guaranteed. It's only for those who engage, for those who plug in, for those who show up. Like we have the developer calls every week, and under 10% of the people who actually use the software get on the developer calls every week. It blows my mind. Like, I don't understand like how people want to use these. For me, it's because you don't really understand how much is on the other side. Like people don't truly believe that you can be free from trading Forex, or else you would take it serious, because people take PlayStation 5 and the Super Bowl and all this other stuff that's not going to give you financial or time freedom at all much more seriously than they do with what it is we have here on the table of Auvoria Prime. So the only way to change that is to change what it is that you see. So what do we want you to see? You're going to see more success stories coming out of Auvoria Prime, left and right. And that's why we're doing this call, so that way you can hear and realize that it's so much bigger than you and your own trading account, and you can align yourself with what it is that we have going on here, so that way you can really ride this wave with us and create more for us all.
I love that, Don. Bro, speaking of stories, I have to share this story, because this is what shifted my mindset on not wanting to keep the information to myself. And guys, when I tell you this story, so we got 200 people on the call right now. I want you guys to pay close attention to this story, because June 26, 2017 is when I first got introduced to the Forex space, period. I hadn't profited, hadn't made much money. Probably 2-3 months in, I'm saying to myself, okay, you know, I'm getting a little bit better here and there. And I remember just wanting to keep it to myself. I remember saying, you know what? I'm not going to tell a soul about this until I get my own results. And that's like trying to go out onto the baseball field for the first time and saying, I'm not going to tell anybody about baseball until I start hitting home runs. And what blew my mind is this, guys. Pay close attention to this part. There was an individual who reached out to me named Alex Molina. He's from Venezuela. Now, guys, I need you to understand, in Venezuela, the average annual income is $600. I didn't say 600 a month. I said the average annual income in Venezuela is around $600. So 365 days go by, the average person there is making $600. I can't make this up, guys. There was an individual, I had posted, I think, a chart about trading, not even a result because I didn't even have any. I posted a chart about trading, and an individual named Alex Molina said, hey, bro, what's that? I said, listen, man, you know, I'm trying to figure out this trading thing. He said, bro, I would love to join. I said, bro, honestly, you should wait a little bit until I get some results. He's like, bro, why don't I just start now? We could do it together. We could try to get better together. Guys, I can't make this up. He signed up, and within 2 months, this individual had made $12,000 trading. And I'm sitting there baffled. He sent me a video of him and his entire family. He did the 12K in one day. He sent me a video of his entire family in the living room at 3 a.m. jumping up and down. Hey, hey, hey. Folks going crazy because he did 12K in a day from trading. And so I want y'all to understand, I heard Miss Jackie say, if you're not telling people about what's going on here, it's selfish. I hear people say all the time, oh, I just want to make enough money to take care of me. That's how I know people's goals and visions don't extend outside of just themselves. It's selfish. I can't afford not to tell somebody after seeing the impact, the ripple effect that had. Literally from a cold message to 12K in a day and his whole family up at 3 a.m. acting a fool, acting like they just won gold medals. And that's the purpose, guys. When I had experienced that and said, you know what, that this is insane. I don't have to have my own results, because guess what? What's the unfortunate truth? Even when you do get your own results, it doesn't guarantee the next person that you get involved is going to have to duplicate that exact thing. Just because Dante's done 6 figures in a day, just because I've done 6 figures in a day, doesn't mean that every person we get involved in trading is going to do 6 figures in a day. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because there's somebody out there absolutely praying right now for what it is that you're tapped into. And who knows, that person could end up helping you.
You have no idea. You really don't, until you start to share the news and you start to allow people to see what we have access to and allow them to align themselves where they're going to be at. Like I tell people in business all the time, like, it's not my job. It's not your job to ensure that somebody's going to be a millionaire trader. No. But it's definitely your job to control what you can control, which is exposing them like that. Like, even if somebody is like, oh yeah, I don't want to do this, I don't think that's something for me, that's fine. That's not an issue, because your exposure, it may not be something for them now. It may be something for them in 6 months, maybe something for them in 3 years. I get calls now from people. They're like, you know what, Don, I'm finally ready. And I'm like, welcome aboard. And I love them as they come in. I love people as they leave. I'm unemotional to anybody else's response to what we have going on, because I have so much security and so much sureness in that what it is that we're doing is real, because I've already experienced some of the heights that people wish to accomplish. So for me, when you just change your mindset of how you even look at what we're doing right now, we are literally about to trailblaze and change the world. We're financially and empowering people to take control, so that way you are no longer a victim, or you are no longer have to abide by somebody else's time. What do most people do every day? Like I tell my dad this all the time. Like, I used to make me sick as a kid growing up, and my dad wasn't able to come to different sporting events that I had and different things that I had going on in school because he had to work. Now, am I mad that he had to go to work? No, he had to go to work so we could eat. I get it. It makes sense. But he didn't have access to the things and the resources that we have access to now. And it blows my mind how the internet has kind of changed everything for everybody worldwide and what it is that we have access and availability to now. And those who don't take advantage will be left behind. It's not a if, it's not a maybe. It's very similar to how maybe 120 years ago, 95% of the people in America were farmers. Like, you know, I mean, most people were farming land. That was the biggest source of income. And then you have the Industrial Revolution to where, you know what I mean, like the Fords and the things came into the place. And a lot of people started taking like assembly line jobs and things like that inside of factories and stuff like that. And it changed the narrative for everybody else who was farming. And the same kind of shift you're kind of watching happen right now. Like, you used to go into a store back in the day, like going to Walmart 10 years ago, 20 years ago, there's to be 10, 15 people at the front of Walmart, like to check out your food or check out your stuff. Now you go to Walmart, there's 2, 3 people up there, and then most of it is self-checkout. You get on a plane, back in the day, you used to have to wait in that line, wait for the lady to come check your bag and all that. Now I go into the airport, I go check my thing right on the automated little kiosk, and then I go right up to my flight. I'm not even talking to a person. Those were people, those were jobs. They're not here no more. So it's like jobs are like disappearing for the things in favor of technology. And I promise you that a business owner does not care about your family. He's worried about his family. And if at the end of the day, if it's going to save money for the business owner and they have to pay less taxes and less insurance because they don't have to pay people and they can pay different forms of automated robots and things, like so much stuff that's coming in the next couple of years, like, they're not going to try to protect your family. You have to try to protect your family and prepare yourself. And those who are not prepared are going to be dealing with some. You thought 2020 was tough. 2021 is going to be tougher for the people who are not prepared to the reality of what's going on right now. Talking about the old days, that's not now. That's like that doesn't apply to now. Things have changed.
It's history. And even if you still have doubts, like, will I ever learn this? Keep in mind, each one of us started as fresh as you are right now, without any knowledge.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to learn what a pip is.
Well,
got to learn position sizing.
It would have been awesome if there would have been an Auvoria Prime about 6 years ago or so.
Right.
Hey, our lives would be so different.
Oh, yes.
Our lives would be so different.
The thousands of euros that I paid on Forex education.
Yep.
Me still clueless.
Yep. I've got tens of thousands of dollars into my education over the last couple of years, and indicators and training programs. And if I had access, and I say this with all my heart, if I had access to something like AP, where for $120 US a month, I could have access to people like Don and Jackie, Monique,
so many
Jason,
hours.
you know what I mean? And the
hours.
education and everything that everyone has to offer is all available to this community. Can you imagine the impact on people's lives? It's just crazy.
I'm telling people, you know, in fact, you're not paying for the tools. You're paying for all the coaching, all the live calls that are available for you.
One quick question here that I wanted to address in the chat there, but is there a way to backtest with AIRO on the MT4 strategy tester? I'm not very well acquainted with MT4 because I use TradingView a lot.
This is not an EA, so
yeah, so there's no, you can't
hard.
test it. What you can do though, and you need there's a big thing about going back and checking and seeing if these are valid. What happens is these zones, these red and green zones, well, you see on Jackie's screen right now, you got a whole bunch of red, you don't have any green. Well, I'm going to tell you that as those red zones were there was green zones in there. The only part of this indicator that does repaint is the zones. So if you're going back a couple days, it's not going to be as effective taking those trades as it is as you go. So effectively, you can't really back test this.
True.
Unless someone has some other way to do it.
No, not back testing, but for the sake of education, why not go back in 2020, take a specific pair and look at all the arrows. See for yourself if you would have taken that trade. You can learn so much from that by looking at the chart, looking at the patterns. When do those arrows show up? And how did that pair behave after the arrow?
I know you can go back a certain amount of candles too. I'm not, I can't remember what the amount was, but there are a certain amount of candles because then if you, depending on your time frame, you
Yeah,
won't see any more arrows. So if you really want to see things, you could probably look at the higher time frame and get an overview look.
yeah,
But even though I've been calling it a system, it is solely based off as an indicator. So utilizing a strategy tester, you'll find that if you put in any indicator in there, like you throw in the alligator or something like that, you're not going to be able to really utilize the strategy tester. Only on an EA would you be able to do so.
Yeah. So there's another question there. Someone's mentioning that they were told that you can't use it on more than 10 currency pairs because it's going to have too much lag. Myself, I'm running it on 25, 26 currency pairs, and I'm not experiencing too much because I don't trade off of that same MetaTrader 4 platform. So I just do my analysis and then I take the trade on another platform itself. So
I have, how many pairs do I have up? Well, let's see, one,
you probably
two.
got 30, right?
I've lessened.
Oh,
Let's
you
see,
cleaned
two,
it up.
four.
what you can do is just open the charts that you know that are being traded during the money zone.
Yep.
So if you have a pair like Aussie Kiwi, that's something that will be mostly traded during the Asian session. Close the
Hmm.
charts. You don't need it.
That's right. Good point. Um. Oh, the only reason why I'm sharing my screen is because somebody asked for a fib drawing off of NZD CAD, and that's the only reason why I did that. So I was just trying to make sure I lined it up because they wanted to see it for a downtrend. I'm zoomed all the way out, by the way, everybody. And again, I draw
No
my
green
fib.
zones.
No green zones,
Right.
straight downtrend. Anybody taking buys here, shame on you. I drew my fib. I draw my fib a little differently than other people. I know people tell you to teaches you to go to the wicks, and I personally don't like the wicks, but it doesn't mean that I'm right, and that doesn't mean that somebody else is wrong. I just do what works for me. Okay, but the whole point is you wanted to see how to draw the fib for a downtrend. So the reason why I'm starting back here is because when you first coming into a chart and you want to draw Fibonacci lines, it's best to zoom all the way out so you can have an overview of what price is doing. Each candle, of course, is a price formation. So we're in a strong downtrend. And what I do is since this is a pair I've never even touched, I go back and I see this is the beginning of my downtrend pretty much. I've zoomed out as much as I want and I can kind of start from there. And you start from the top and you go down to the bottom. And the way to get this tool is two ways. You have this little button right here with the little F, Fibonacci retracement tool, or you go to insert and not view, Fibonacci retracement. I don't use these other ones. I was taught off of the expansion one, but I didn't really like it too much, so I'm utilizing retracement, and this is how I teach people utilizing the retracement tool. Okay, so then once you get it, it has these little dots, and you just expand it. You start right here, and then you have another bottom down here, and you kind of just move it. So I'm not physically drawing these horizontal lines. That's being drawn for me as the lot expands, okay? But you draw from top to the bottom, and that's how you start your trend. So I utilize this to analyze what price is doing. Remember, I'm looking for retracements when you're doing this. Your asset has to be trending, and you are looking for a retracement. Remember, I don't counter trend trade. So I'm not going to trade the retracement. I'm going to wait for the retracement to be done and then continue on the trend. That's what I normally do. So right here, you can kind of see it's down and then price came back up again right here. So I don't care about what's happening right here. I just want to be able to have a starting point. And when I do, I see price came back here. Here's this line. You see, it's 50. I said, okay, price came back to the 50. So whatever strategy 8 tells me or whatever I use for my determination on my entry, you can use candlestick pattern formations, anything like that. But the point is, you see how far back it retraced and then it restarts its trend again. I always do that. And then as I look at it as some people tell me to get out at 0, and then they go about their business. The way I look at Fibonacci is that once it's retraced back to 50, that is the beginning of the trade sequence. That means that the trend needs to restart. Well, the trend is going to restart at 0. It has to. It's not going to skip 0. It has to go back to 0 to continue its trend, correct? That's basic math logic. So once it gets there and continues on, that's when I start looking at additional take profit. And what Nate teaches you in the strategy 8, once you got AIRO and you get there, is that you can actually look at, see price hit not only 50 as its retracement, but go back to the other 50. It's inverse. Remember, Nate, the developer of AIRO, is a mathematician, you guys. Okay? Not just calculus, not just trig, additional math classes beyond has been taken in order to get his degree in mathematics. So I'm listening to this man tell me it's going to go from this point to its inverse. And what do you see happening? It does right here. And it will, as soon as it does that, I say the trade sequence has been completed. Then I will get rid of this fib and redraw it again once price wants to start again. And it will start again here and just draw it down. Now, y'all probably like, that is a lot, right? Well, maybe it's not. I tell you what, practice drawing that. So I challenge you not only to 100 trades, but like Matt got me on wedges, and I learned about how to draw wedges. Now, granted, I still can't draw trend lines to save my life. Everybody know this about me. But I can tell you, if I do draw a wedge, I know based on drawing 500 of them, that there is a certain percentage of them that will continue the trend of the breakout. And the only reason why I knew that is because I did what Matt told me to do. And yeah, he said, once you finish drawing them, you will see the pattern. Remember, price moves in patterns. This is all logistical stuff, math, and it's all scientific, but everything in nature goes in a pattern, correct? So when you start learning about that and you follow that and all you see is pattern formations, that's what you trading. You trading patterns, breakouts of patterns, things like that. But I challenge you, now that I showed you one way to draw the Fibonacci, go look at that video. Now practice. I guarantee you, if you practice as much as I've practiced, I've drawn over 1,000 Fibonacci lines over across 25 different pairs. And the reason why I'm so easy with it is because I practiced it. So I just wanted to answer that question about how to draw a downtrend for NZD CAD. When you draw the uptrend, it's the vice versa. You just go from bottom to top. But the key thing with the strategy of this to make it easier for you is watching strategy 8. When you get there, remember, you're new to this, don't hop on this yet. Master strategy 1. I'm just giving you additional information because somebody asked a question, but just know the potential that you can grow to, right? I'm taking these trades based off of Fibonacci, okay? That's why I'm still in them. So once you get to this, follow that, and I can tell you, you will need AIRO for this because of this moving average that AIRO provides. You can try and figure out what this moving average is all you want, but I tell you, why would you do that when I can just utilize AIRO that already gives it for me and just trade off of that?
Because it may
Okay?
not just be one moving average, right?
It's not.
It's plotted as one, but it could actually be 6. It could actually be
Exactly.
an average. It could be many things that are related. It could be a weighted average of different moving averages. So it's not
Exactly.
worth time of day to try and figure out the secret sauce. To me, it's worth just paying it and giving her.
Exactly. I mean, come on, y'all. Look at the pips.
Yeah, come
I'm
on,
already,
Jackie.
I'm like, what you got the question? Really, you just got to make sure you apply. And like Mariska said, we all started from the beginning, right? I ain't coming to this as no, I'm still not no expert trader. I can't even call myself an expert. Again, I'm always a student. But I dreamed about catching this many pips. I dreamed about trying to trade oil successfully, consistently. And I can tell you, I'm very happy with what AIRO has been able to do for me. And I can tell you another thing, I link strategies. So remember, I told y'all the way I do it, I'm linking 1, 2, and 8. 3 strategies all in one to execute my trades. That's all you gotta do. As long as you practice, you'll start to see that. But you gotta apply yourselves or you slipping.
Jackie,
Mastering the mundane. Go ahead, Matt.
we got a question here in the chat there. What candlesticks do you looking for? I believe Ken is asking kind of, do you trade candlestick patterns specifically? I think that's what he's leaning towards.
You know what? Honestly, I never traded candlestick patterns ever. I could care less what a doji looks like.
Likewise.
Honestly,
Likewise.
I just actually just got into them a little bit more because a hammer or a morning star, railroad tracks. By the way, I did not know a thing about railroad or railway track pattern formation until Nate said it when I posted my results for a US 30 trade like 2 weeks ago. And he saw my Fibonacci on the screen and he said, "Oh, look at that railway track pattern. That's how you got into the trade." I was like, "Nah, I got into the trade because of the bag alert. But now let me go figure out what you're talking about, you know?" And that's what, and now in the strategy 8, that's what Nate teaches you. He teaches you the candlestick formations that you could take to get into the trade prior to a bag entry alert utilizing Fibonacci. So as you can see, I got multiple positions. Why? Because I use the fib, I use the candlestick formation, and I use the entry off of the alert. That's just all compounding things. That's just another level of trading. And I mean, you as a beginner, if you're a beginner, you might not necessarily get to do that right now, but that I'm just saying that's the potential you can get to. But candlestick formations, never really cared about it. Nowadays, though, my favorite is the railroad track. When he mentioned that to me and I saw what it was, I look for that all the time now, and I look for it with a bag entry or to be able to see. Like yesterday, we had the EJ. I'll just go to EJ real quick. We had EJ. Remember, we were looking at the M15. Yeah, I got my fib on that too. We were looking at this one right here, right? This was the alert that we were looking at, and I'm gonna zoom in. And what I was looking for is I was mad. I said, "All right, where is my candlestick formations that's happening?" And if you looking at mine, is gonna look a little different when I zoom in compared to y'all's, because y'all probably followed the rules and did the colors. I didn't. But this was the 15-minute alert that we were talking about yesterday that we was waiting for, and we got in, right? And then it stalled out and retraced against us. But look at these little different candlestick formations. This little thing right here, I can't remember what it's called. Look like a hammer, but I think it's the reverse one. But anyway, this is like a little railroad track, right? This is what I look for now when I do my fib to take an entry with a bag entry alert. But this, I didn't know nothing about it until Nate did a video on it. So when you get to AIRO, he'll teach you that. And I think that's one of the greatest things about having this particular trading system, aside from everything else that AP offers, which is awesome, and the education that's involved. But the fact that we have developers of the software teaching you how to use the software. Because I've been in trading over 4 years. I've traded with EAs. I mean, I ain't gonna front. I know a lot of y'all probably came in because y'all got some indicators off of MQL5 store, right? Or y'all went over there and got some EAs and they ain't work no more, something like that, right? Because you just got a license, you thought you was gonna make some money, and then you ain't talking to the developer like that. They gone. At least here, you have contact with a developer who provided you with a product that not only works, but will teach you how it works. And then he goes above and beyond and actually educates you on Forex. Like he teaches you about structure, market structure. I could care less about market structure before. I can tell y'all right now, I never traded with support and resistance, not until I got AIRO. I did not care. Somebody was like, really, really. I didn't care. I just had moving average cross. That was my original way. Now y'all see what's on my chart. I got nothing but AIRO in Fibonacci. That's how you grow. I've grown more within this past year with AP alone than I ever had over my 4 years.
Say it
All
again.
because
Say it
Say it
all
again
again.
one more time. I don't think they heard it.
Yeah, go.
exactly. I have grown more in this past year with AP in not only just my trading skill, but in my overall mindset knowledge in being in this community more in this past year than I ever had in the 4 years total I've been trading.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And the information that you get. And all this is from just starting with an indicator, bounce, arrow, go.
Go. Yes, love.
Mm.
I love that. I love that, especially the fact that we still have 2 months left. People need to understand that what we're sitting on right now is it's hard to even conceptualize because we're only 10 months in and we've only had AIRO how long, Don? How long have we even
2
had
months?
access to? 2 months. So what I really want to highlight on everything that she just said is the fact that you have somebody who's already put in 3-4+ years in the market and is still able to drop their ego. What does ego stand for? Edging God out. She's still able to drop her ego, remain coachable, remain open to the fact that there could be something that allows her to hone in on getting better results. And at the end of the day, you're going to see people in the chat say, hey, what about, key points and what about fibs and what about market structure and what about moving averages? And you guys need to understand there's thousands of chefs out there who are going to give you ingredients on how to trade. Every single person on this call needs to be looking for the ingredient or recipe that allows them to consistently get the result that they want. And you're going to hear people explain all different types of strategies. We've had people on here talking about scalping and how many bag opportunities there are on the lower time frame. We've had people on here talking about H1 and H4. It's all they're looking for because they have the patience to maintain the order. You guys need to really dive down. The charts are going to show you more about yourself. Forex and trading is going to show you more about yourself than 95% of any other activity you've ever participated in. You just have to be willing to endure some of the unfortunate truths that are inside of you. I had to realize quickly, Jason, if you always have this impulsive nature, if you always have this overwhelming greed to want to try to hit a bigger lick, hit a bigger profit, you're going to consistently find yourself self-sabotaging the blessings that you should be reaping if you could just hone in on that self-discipline. And so each person is going to have their own different areas they got to improve. But I just love the fact that you have somebody who has been trading for that period of time and is able to come into Auvoria Prime with a product that we've only had access to for 2 months. I don't know who here on this call played Nintendo 64, but look at what we have now with the PS5. We got people sleeping in tents outside of Walmart to try to get their hands on a gaming console. And we have just released AIRO 2 months ago. People need to be hearing about AIRO the way they hear about PlayStation 5. The way they talk about Sony, they're going to be talking about AP. They're going to be talking about Auvoria Prime. So, Don, when you said earlier, oh, people need to get out there and tell the world, it's fine if they don't, bro, because I know we will. It's fine. That's more market share for us. At the end of the day, people really need to start with the end in mind. If that means you writing down on a piece of paper right now how much money you want to make trading by the end of the year, do it. If that means writing down how much residual income you want to have by the end of the year, do it. But before you do any of that, I definitely need people to sign up and tap in to the virtual event that we're going to have. Guys, I need y'all to understand this. If there's anything else that you take away from the call, it costs to pay attention. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm going to say it again. It costs to pay attention. If we did this virtual live call for free, y'all wouldn't value it. If I said, hey, everybody in Atlanta, I'm giving away free haircuts, it wouldn't be valued. People need to understand that there has to come sacrifice. Sacrifice comes before success in the dictionary and in life. So if you really want to find yourself, I'm gonna just leave it at this. The most rigorous notes I've ever taken. Guys, I played at the Division I level. I've studied at some phenomenal places. The most rigorous notes I've ever taken in my entire life is when I spent my last $500 to go to Las Vegas, Nevada, to go to GoPro and sit there for a 3-day event and take notes and try to figure out how is it I'm gonna make back my entire savings that I just spent. And what ended up happening at that event, I met Donta. That's number one. Number two, I took the most rigorous notes and then went and put them to action. The whole point of me telling you guys that story is when I had nothing, when I was willing to give all that I had, it forced me to literally write until my hands cramped every single day. And when it comes to this event, you're going to be glad that you invested into yourself. You're going to be absolutely so thankful. And what would be a shame is if you don't get people around you that's also on this journey on that as well. Because you're going to be getting off that call, feeling motivated, feeling fired up, and you're going to be sitting there saying to yourself, wow, I wish my best friend could have got that same lightning bolt. Wow, I wish my business partners could have got that same lightning bolt. So it costs to pay attention, guys. Invest in yourself. It should hurt. It should always hurt a little bit because that's going to make you so much more alert. That's going to make you have to really keep yourself accountable and you pay for the lemons. You're going to want to get the juice, the seeds, you got to squeeze it for all it's worth. So I'm just so excited for this event. I'm so excited for coming up on our 1-year anniversary with Auvoria Prime in 2 months and just knowing what do the next 4 to 5 years look like.
Hey,
Yep.
Jason, can I elaborate on what something you just said? Because I really, truly, honestly believe in that. I'm a business owner.
You're a little low, Coach Smoke.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Oh, you can hear me now? Yay!
Yeah.
I just want to elaborate on what Jason said because I've been staying quiet and I've been listening, but I love every bit of knowledge that everybody is putting into the pot because at the end of the day, that is who I am. I didn't come from very much, but every ounce that I get, I don't spend time on, watching a television show. I go read a book. I don't spend time, fooling out on the streets. I go and I go and apply, right? Whatever I learn, right? So I've been a business owner for almost a decade now and loving the process, but Forex is like a whole nother ball game, guys. As a business owner, I have to go to the banks to get money, right? Now Forex has actually taught me that I don't have to go to the banks. I can become the bank. You know what I'm saying? I could actually develop this skill where I could go into the market and pull out money every single day if I so choose. All right. So the thing is I love what Jason is talking about. I teach a concept called bonsai. You guys remember Karate Kid back in the day? Yeah. Karate Kid was going in and he seen Mr. Miyagi, cutting the bonsai tree. And Mr. Miyagi's like, you can cut one too. And he's like, bonsai, bonsai. The thing that I took from that whole scene is in order for that plant to be trimmed and perfected into their vision of what they've seen is they had to plant the seed first. You plant the seed in good soil, you give it the right amount of nutrients, the right amount of sunlight, and it will grow. You trim the tree the way you see it fit. And that's the reason why you have all these amazing, mindful, people who are going in and they just plant the seed and get AIRO. They're using AIRO to grow their accounts, to grow their knowledge as successful traders. And you can do the same thing. But I wanted to chime in because I want even the beginner, the novice to know, look, you're starting from ground zero. That does not mean that you can't go from zero to hero, okay? Just because you start down from a $100 account, $250 account, doesn't mean that you can't grow that. But you got to start somewhere. You got to plug in to the live trainings. You got to go into your back office and watch all the videos that Nathan gives because they are straight up factual information and they will bless you when you start being mindful on some of the things that he's saying, teaching you. So everybody here is here to help you win. You think about even the golf game, okay? Tiger Woods has 4 coaches that he kept on his side. He has to pay those people, guys. He has to pay those people to help him win. 4 coaches, okay? And you guys have literally at your hands, tens of 20s of coaches, that are going to come along your side and literally hold your hand and teach you, the fundamentals of what you need to be able to be successful. But no one is going to, there's a famous saying that says you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force him to drink. If you're not getting on the live calls, if you're not studying, if you're not applying, if you're not learning, if you're not growing, okay? If a tree stops growing, what does it do? It dies, okay? You got to be thinking that your 4X journey is just like that tree. You planted the seed, you now continue to water it by involving yourself in wonderful events like this, a virtual live event that's about to happen on the, and we're all going to be there. I already got my ticket. I hope y'all are getting yours. I'll go ahead and drop the link once again in the chat box, but please keep plugging in, okay? A doctor doesn't become a doctor just by going to college for a couple of years. They stay in it and they get their doctorate degree, okay? And those guys, literally, I've heard of doctors spending anywhere from $250 to $1 million, depending on what their trade is or their specialty is, right? If they're a brain surgeon, they're gonna stay in school for a lot longer than just a 4-year degree, all right? So if you want to become like a pro, you gotta have to make sure that you get to a point where you continue to invest in yourself. And if you can't afford to invest right now, go get it. In my personal opinion, when I was struggling, I got a second job. I found another hustle, right? And that's what I constantly do in my businesses. No matter how much I grow, 200, 300% every single year, I continue to hire other coaches to train me, to teach me, to help grow me, because I am never going to be an expert 100%, and know everything, because times change, life changes. We even see even in the Forex market, you don't see the chart going straight up or straight down. It's constantly forever changing, So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to chime in, is because I think a lot of people get scared of change, right? The brain completely wants to put you in a paralysis state, analysis by paralysis, right? Oh my gosh, I'm training with the pros. They're teaching me all these cool things like Fibonacci and whatnot. Look, master number 1 strategy of AIRO, and you, in my personal opinion, you can't go wrong. Okay, you just build upon that foundation. You got to have a solid foundation to build a house, right? So to build your empire in your mind, you got to make sure that you have a solid foundation of that strategy 1. But I love what you said, Jason. Like, literally, go ahead and invest in yourself, not just financially, but also in the time. Take an hour out of your day. There's a book called The Outlier. I encourage you guys to read it. It talks about if you can practice a skill, okay, for 10,000 hours, you will become like a pro. That's what they've actually been able to figure out, according to like hockey players and NBA players and stuff like that. If they practice 10,000 hours, and they practice not just just swinging the bat, but they actually practice the technicals of swinging that bat, right? The right stance to have, the right look to have, where to look, you know what I'm saying? Where to position that bat over the plate, and how to swing at those curveballs. You guys will win. I promise you. I promise you. My thing is that Nathan does drop some really cool gold nuggets on those live training calls that he does. And even with the calculator, I see a lot of people asking about the calculator off and on going on in the chat room. Nathan talks about if you have $100, put a 0.01 lot size on your trade. For every $100, 0.01. So you've got $500, 0.05, right? I learned that because I went ahead and I invested my time into getting on those calls. All right, you guys can do the same. I love y'all. Go ahead and take it away, Dylan.
I thought that was
Take it away. I'm just fired up because I have a lot to say about everything y'all said, and I've been saying super quiet, but it's so true. Invest in yourself, and you will see the growth that will come out of it. Because we can only lead you to the water, but we can't force you to drink, and we can't force you to practice. Show up, people. Show up. The 200 people that showed up on this call, y'all are doing the right thing.
Y'all hopped on this call for 3 hours. Like, you might as well grab the ticket to the virtual event. You're talking about leveling up. It's really going to be able to. It's going to change some lives. I can't wait.
I think
really can't.
over the course of this call, we've lost maybe 40 people. This is
Yeah.
impressive. You guys, like, that is impressive. You guys are hungry.
Trying to tell you, man, you want to get fed, like show up on the 30th. There's gonna be there are some real training sessions that are about to go down that like I hope that everybody, like, one thing that you got out of this call was just awareness that this is so much bigger than what you thought it was before you hopped on this call today. Like what you're a part of is much bigger than how it is than what you originally thought of today. And when you have more awareness to what's going on, you're able to take better action and be more aligned with what it is that you truly want. So I believe that awareness is a big deal. Just like Matt had said earlier, like he said the $100,000 is a Super Bowl comment. And I'm like, that's like, I got to make you guys aware that it's so much bigger than that. So that way, like, we don't put any lids on anything because it all is based on awareness. Before I met a gentleman named Presley Swaggerty in like 2015. And he was the first person I ever heard who said that he helped 100 people make six figures before. And I was like, wow, like you helped 100 human beings, 100 families make six figures like that. Like I didn't even know people did that. You know what I mean? Like it made me aware of what was really possible in this space. And since then, I intentionally tried to make myself more and more aware of the things that I truly want. And a lot of times we get caught up into, you know what I mean, cycles of just watching TV and Netflix and sports and stuff, you know what I mean? Stuff that, like, at the end of the day, my mentor says that whatever entertains you trains you. So it's like, what are you watching majority of the day? Your eyes and your ears are the fastest ways to get into your heart, and your heart and your mind are connected. So like, what's in your heart? What are the things you're thinking about? They matter. So it's like what you're allowing yourself to watch and listen to on a day in and day out basis, having a direct effect on what it is that you think about. So it's very important to be cognizant of what you're listening to, who you're around, what are you saying? Like, these things matter because they affect what it is that you truly believe and the limiting beliefs that you subconsciously put on yourself. And people act like they're confused as to why they're stuck in life, but you're not really paying attention to what you're allowing in your ear gate and your eye gate. So what we're doing on the 30th is allowing you to hear and to see some things and to get a perspective shift, which can really change your life if you take it in the right way. But I'm not even going to beat you guys up about it too more. I really think
Don, that's awesome.
That this group.
That's awesome. That if I can tag on to there, you want to talk about self-development, get yourself an Audible subscription. And while you're driving, while you're getting ready for bed, something, just put it on in the background. Let it, because you can get The Outliers, the book by that was mentioned by Coach Mo. That's on there. Malcolm Gladwell, incredible author. If you want to level up as a person and as a trader, you also have to level up your mind and what you put into it. And since my journey, the biggest thing that I've done is started listening to audio. I don't have music playing in my car. People think I'm nuts. I've got Malcolm Gladwell, Robert Greene, just lots of information, because there's so much information out there and so much good, solid information. If we can just take and put it inside of us and help us grow, the answers are out there.
I completely agree.
I've got about 35 books on my Audible subscription right now. And some are just, some are crazy and some are transformative. Maybe I'll send a screenshot of what I actually have in my Audible collection.
Yeah, I got some good ones too. People too. It's just, the reality is, like, who's really going to plug in and engage? Like, people saw Jackie's screen and they can't get their eyes off of being up at 2,500 pips in profit. But it's like, that wasn't the most impressive thing. The most impressive was that she did the 500 wedges. Like, that blows my mind. Like, I got so much respect for that. And I think that I just really want people to take that in and know that, like, the real development, like, it's bigger than pips. Like, you're not going to get the pips without developing your mindset. It's just not, the two don't coincide. So the faster you make a commitment to say, okay, I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to become better at who it is that I am on a day in and day out basis, you will really start to, like, just to bring so much more to you. So I'm excited for this group and for this community as a whole. There's going to be thousands, hundreds of thousands of active subscribers inside of Auvoria Prime, hundreds of thousands, like at a bare minimum, and it's going to happen really, really quickly, and it's going to start immediately after the 30th of this year, when people find out some of the behind the scenes things we've been working on inside of Auvoria Prime in the last couple of months now. So like it's going to be a huge day. Is the 30th. Anybody, if you go out your way to plug some people in on that call on the 30th, I guarantee you will be grateful that you did so afterwards. And something that I've learned just in my course, for anybody here who's intentionally building the business, that you can leverage what it is that we're going to create and do inside of our events for yourself. Like, people get imagine hopping on a great training call and then you now being responsible for going to regurgitate whatever information that you just learned to your team before you really even had a chance to apply it and get your own lessons. It's unrealistic. And I see that often, to where, like, maybe a Matt or maybe a Jackie or maybe a me or a Stu will go hop on a training call or go get involved in something where we know we're going to develop and get better, but you don't bring anybody with you. And then you kind of hold that information for yourself, and that's okay. But the real key, like, if you want to really get free, is to go out your way to help somebody else. Like, the trueness of life, like one of the most selfish things you can do is to give, because when I'm giving to somebody else, I'm giving for them, but at the same time, it's for me. Because when you live your life in a way to where you're not necessarily attached to anything, and you can give and you can help and you can be a conduit for people's growth, like, you're never going to have to worry about you getting blessed. You're never going to have to worry about things coming in your favor when you operate your life in a giving nature, and you truly have a love for people. And that's why we're here. Like, I didn't do this to start these calls because I wanted to make more money, or I was concerned about what AP could potentially pay me to do this. They can't pay me enough, because it's not about the money. So it's like, for me, it's truly about serving people and making that a priority. And I think that the faster that we incorporate a culture of giving and a culture of helping people and a culture of that, we're going to really see some major breakthroughs.
That's awesome. I have my my Audible list up if people just wanted to have an idea of what I've been registering in my brain over the last little bit. Here, I'll just share my screen real quick. I got the 10X Rule. I got Secrets of a Millionaire Mind in Turbulent Times by T. Harv Eker. I got Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I got 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. That might change your life in its own. The 12-Week Year, Get More by Brian P. Moran. Ultimate Jim Rohn Library, Ultimate Zig Ziglar Library, Ultimate Dale Carnegie Library. Each one of these are like 10 hours long. I've been through them multiple times. Building an Empire, Most Complete Blueprint. That's by Brian Carruthers.
Great one.
Look, Trading in the Zone, Mark Douglas. Never Split the Difference. If you want to learn how to negotiate, read this book. It'll change your life, I guarantee you. This is going to be your best book for learning how to negotiate. He was, anyway, I don't want to go too far into that, but Talking to Strangers, What Should We Know About People That We Don't Know by Malcolm Gladwell. He's the same author as the previous book that was mentioned. Outliers. That's the book that we were talking about. It's about 7 hours long. Mastery by Robert Greene. Phenomenal. Sorry, guys. Mouse is messing up. 33 Strategies of War. Finding Your Why. Permission to Screw Up. Leaders Eat Last. Tribe of Mentors. Happiness Advantage. Creativity Inc. Thinking Fast and Slow. Mindhunter. Influence. Never Eat Alone. CEO Next Door. And I still have 10 more credits to use up.
Oh yeah, Matt, I didn't even know we could do this. Let me go ahead and share. I want to swing them a couple other options as well. This is dope.
Yeah. Come on, here.
I just logged into Audible for the first time.
Yeah, do it up.
I've never even done this, so I like this a lot. So you got The Magic of Thinking Big, Awaken the Giant Within, Beach Money is a good one too. Is a good one too.
Hold on. I got to add some of these. I got 10. I got 10.
We got a ton of them on here. I have 3 different Audible accounts, so I just realized. So it's like I actually didn't even notice. So I'm excited to kind of go back in and finish a couple of these as well. Atomic Habits is probably why I read this last year. It's one of my favorite books. I read the paper copy though, even though I had the Audible too. I kind of do both. So like sometimes I'll get the paper copy, get the audiobook, and like listen to it as I'm reading it as well. Dare to Lead is a great book as well.
Yep.
This is Becoming, it's Michelle Obama's book. Contagious. So anybody who out here is in marketing and things like that, talk about why different trends catch on and why like how to make your like videos and things go viral. Like I've used this to help my social media brand as well. The Creature from Jekyll Island. This man, Mr. Byron Nelson, actually recommended me this book last year when he was talking about how pretty much this book is going to break down how the Federal Reserve came about. And it's going to literally, you read this book, it kind of shifts your whole brain about money. It's kind of ridiculous. Here's more. I like Tony Robbins' books. So here's Unleash the Power Within. I'm a big fan of that as well. Damon John's Rise and Grind is a great one as well. Make Change is about different injustice things and things of that nature. This one is a good one, like Matt said, where like it's like a culmination of multiple. So it's like motivational legends, has stuff from Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy's one of my favorite guys to listen to. I think he's great. If you're just looking for somebody random. The Speed of Trust. A lot of guys, especially if you're in business, people don't do business with you. Like people don't sign up with me for Auvoria Prime because AIRO is great. They sign up with me because they trust me and they trust that I'm headed in the right direction. And once you kind of make your life more so about building that relationship trust with people and relationship currency, you'll see another level up. You Are the Placebo. I recommend this book to my team all the time. Like this is it's a game changer when you start to understand how much control you are when it comes to your mind. I really like Dr. Joe Dispenza. That's somebody else I listen to all the time. Let's check him out. But I'm not gonna overload everybody. These are just different.
You see a trend, right? You see the trend.
Exactly right. You see the trend. So it's a beautiful thing. We got 8 minutes left on the call, guys. So I'm hoping that you guys got some value out of today's call. Even though we didn't hop on any trades, I feel like there was so much discussed. There's no way that you hopped on this call and really didn't leave with another level of awareness and some nuggets with you. So we're gonna go ahead and end. I hope that everybody got some value. Go ahead and make sure that you bring on some more guests as we do this call again tomorrow. Go ahead and at least try to bring one extra person to the call tomorrow. That's what I challenge you all to do. I'm in the mix of the other challenges that we had. So thank you all. I'm glad everybody got on. Thank you so much to the fellow coaches. I'll be on again tomorrow morning. Everybody is welcome to join. We will see you all again tomorrow at 9 a.m. or you'll be on with Nate tonight at 1 a.m. So Nate will be on tonight at 1 a.m. as well, crushing it again.
Thanks, everyone.
No problem.
All right. Thanks, guys.